And who cares, bro? I'm just gonna look at you.
This is my room's a mess.
Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Another quarantine episode of the Messy Room, ladies and gentlemen. As always, it's your boy Vic, and my co-host, my guy, my best friend, the guy that got earlier. I pranked him earlier.
He got me, bro.
Oh man, he was crying. He was crying. My guy Jason, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, and we're here in the Messy Room, the podcast where, like a messy room, life is all over the place. And ladies and gentlemen, oh man, we're getting bigger, we're getting better, and oh man, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I want nothing but the heavy hitters, And this week, ladies and gentlemen, we got a special treat for you. This week, ladies and gentlemen, we got a special treat for you. We got two, ladies and gentlemen, two.
Not one, but two.
Not one, but two guests this week. Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, I've known these two women for the longest, legit, fifth grade, I think. First day of school.
I've known them longer than you. Then I've known them both longer.
They're fucking amazing. They're inspiring in every which way, and I'm even glad that I even know them, ladies and gentlemen. From behalf of the Informed team on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, the hottest show to watch.
It's a show that teaches you about politics and how to be informed in politics. It's crazy, bro. Because especially with the election coming up, this is an important conversation right here.
I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it's the important conversation. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have nothing but pride in introducing my homegirls, Iliana Valentine and Roxana Martinez. What's going on?
Let's go.
Hello. How are you?
How's that intro? I tried.
The whole time I was like, oh my god.
That's great.
Nah, but yo, it's dead ass. I've known them longer than you, bro.
I don't know.
I remember I had Iliana in the fourth grade class, bro. I remember that for sure.
Okay. Alana's class.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
and Mr. DeTolo was my guy, bro. Shout out to my guy, Mr. DeTolo. We had our first period together, fifth grade. You feel me? That's how long I've known them, bro. And they've been my friends ever since. It's been awesome, bro. It's been a great ride, bro.
The thing is, we've known you guys for a long time, but we've known each other even longer than you guys have known us, because we've known each other since the second grade.
Yes.
Damn.
Jeez.
That's a long friendship right there, bro.
That's a long friendship, bro. But ladies, let's dive into it. What made you guys want to become part of this Informed team? How did it even start?
Okay, so if you remember Mr. Wright from Chelsea High, do you remember him?
Yeah.
I
was asking Vic because I saw him on the episodes. I was like, yo, wasn't that a teacher at Chelsea High?
I never had him or nothing, but
but I remember seeing him around.
He was
Jared, right? Jared is his name.
Yeah, Jared Wright. So he was co-advisor of the drama club. So Victor might know him a little bit better than Jason might, but
for sure.
He was a teacher from the Bridge Academy. So he taught English language learners. He was an English teacher. He didn't teach us directly, but we were very close in drama club. And he called me one day a couple months ago, and he just kind of started talking. He didn't
Sounds
really,
like Vic.
Yeah, exactly.
He just started telling me how stressed that he feels and how stressed I must feel regarding everything that happens in the world, literally all the time, every day.
Right.
And he said, so speaking on behalf of Jared, he said, I know somebody named Jose Palma who works with the TPS committee in Massachusetts, and he and I want to do literally whatever we can with the resources we have to inform people, especially in the Latinx community, who may be voting against their own benefit and who just need the information. Like, they just need it, like, now.
Right.
And so he said that he actually asked Edwin Alvarez.
Yeah.
First, because Edwin is an audio engineer. And then when he was on the phone with Edwin, Edwin says, why didn't you ask Iliana? And Jared goes, team. So then he calls me and he tells me that he wants me on the team to do some writing and some research with him. And then I go, Roxana exists.
and I'm friends with Jared on Facebook, mind you. So he sees how vocal I am just in terms of like politics and all that. So it was like an automatic click kind of thing.
Yeah. So as soon as I mentioned her, he was like, oh, absolutely. Can't believe I didn't think of her immediately. And once Roxana was invited into the group, he ran into Marshall by chance. And Marshall, we know how Marshall is. Marshall Martin is king of theatrics, and passionate about the same things that we're passionate about. And so that was a team. It was Jared Wright, his wife Emily Wright, who is far more than just his wife.
Far more. This is
Love
the
her
queen
to
of
death.
everything.
Yes. Jose Palma, an organizer from the TPS committee in Massachusetts, and then
I would say he also works for this organization called Justice at Work, which actually helps undocumented immigrants, you know, kind of obtaining rights within like their own jobs and things like that.
Okay.
So he does that on the side as well. And then obviously you and I, Edwin, along with some other students who actually used to attend Chelsea High, such as Jacob Berg, Demas Villanueva, and then
Jacqueline Segovia, Jocelyn Toal, I think. The team grew significantly after our first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it was just us, the people who we had contacted over the phone. But then the team grew to Jacob Burke, Brian Capretti, who was now like literally like on our last meeting, like a really recent member. Carlos Aguilar, Donia. Can you pronounce her last name? Donia, if you're watching, sorry, Chief.
Oh, man.
Don't worry. Yo, Vic is the king at messing up names.
Yeah, I'm the king of messing up. Oh, man. For like a whole fucking episode and a half, I was saying the wrong name. And then my boy Juan was like,
so you know the struggle, buddy.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Miss Donia, truly. Elsie Sanchez, Evan Townsend, he's hilarious.
He's wonderful.
He does like our social media clips and they send me every time.
The clips have been nice, no bull. They're really well done. Like I like I don't remember which one it was, but it was like perfectly edited. I was like, damn, that was a really good post right there.
Yeah, I mean that's the hope. We just like if anybody can't give up their time to watch like the 30-minute episodes, then they can at least watch these like 2-minute clips, and he does them so well. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, and then there's girl. Well, I'll tackle that sentence in a statement in a second. And then Jillian Jacobs, who was also a teacher at the Bridge Academy at Chelsea High. And so Roxana is our chief editor of the way.
Oh my God.
The way I have nothing but respect for her. The amount of time that it takes and the amount of talent that she doesn't seem to understand that she has. She's incredible. And I say we, I mean, she like hammers these things out like as fast as she can. And she does a beautiful job at it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're really doing as much as we can with the little that we have.
Right.
Because somebody had asked me, they were like, wow, this editing is amazing. Do you pay somebody? And I was like, girl, we have an unpaid martyr. We are all unpaid martyrs.
It's literally just me, you know, Adobe Premiere, which Jason has experience using as well. So he knows how hard it can be sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, I get clips on the go. Like I literally spend Monday through Friday editing for the most part. And then Evan, who we also mentioned, Evan's in charge of. Edwin assists me with video editing, but he does it more in the social media compartment. Whereas I do the clips for like YouTube and things like that, but then he does the clips that end up going on like Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media platform we're using that day, which obviously is a very tremendous help. And yeah, that's it.
Editing is awesome. Probably the hardest thing to do. And Jason right here, that man is the GOAT because I don't know how to do any of that. And this man he just does it. You know what I mean? And I bless this man, please, bro.
Thank you. I know it gets tough, and especially because I noticed you guys have like multiple cameras and everything. Like that's probably tough. Like trying to get the angles and everything correct, and the green screen too. How does one question I've always had for like people that use green screen is that do you choose the background before you start it or like after?
So I mean, there is the option to choose it as you're doing it, but what we typically do is we leave it green as is. And from there, when I input the footage into Adobe, what I do is I kind of like adjust the level, like the contrast and all that.
The lighting and stuff?
Yeah, stuff like that. And then I also add a filter called Ultra Key, which allows you to adapt the green screen to however you want it to be. So we choose the studio setting because we want to look, you know, as newsy and as
for sure.
But you could technically do it with like literally any background you want for the most part. And
that's awesome.
And we use like a DSLR camera for like the main, like anything front and center. And then we use 2 iPhones for the side, for like the side perspectives.
Those are phones? Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, you couldn't tell. Honestly, you can't tell.
You can't tell. It's iPhones, bro. That's crazy.
I mean, we have like the really recent models for iPhones. Yeah. So it makes it so crispy and so clear, which we're very happy about.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So one thing I did have is so how do you guys like decide, all right, this is what we're gonna talk about this week, and then you like who does the research and how does that all get done?
That was the question I was gonna ask. Thanks, buddy.
So for the first episode, Jared was kind of just like smiling and just like sitting there looking at each other like 6 big Barneys, and I was like, okay. I was like, but what's the first episode? And so we decided that the first episode was going to be the very surface level tackling of the show.
Who we are, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
who we are, why we're doing this, and what people could expect moving forward. And then when we met to talk about episode 2, it was kind of like obvious, but like nobody had said it. And then Jared was like, okay, but the show's called Immigrants and Allies, so maybe we should talk about immigration.
Definitely.
And then after that, Roxana's like, okay, so we're talking about immigrants and allies and why it's important to vote. Now let's talk about voting, the voting process and civic engagement. And then after that,
Biden and Trump, right?
Yeah, and I think it's important that we talk about our candidates here, because even though our main goal is to have Trump the hell out of here, we also want to talk about Biden and how frustrating it feels for so many people to have to vote for somebody like Biden. So we had our Biden episode. We call it our yes but episode. Kind of our
but okay.
Yes, he has blemishes, but ...
Yeah, but he's better.
And then we were having a conversation, like a very casual conversation about COVID and the way that we've all been affected by it. We just thought, okay, so let's talk about this then. Another thing he fucking sucks at. Oh my god, I swore. Am I allowed to do?
We are the biggest swearers in the world, bro.
I say it every 5 seconds.
I'm like, okay. That just came out. I'm sorry.
Swear all you want.
Swear away.
Okay. So they were like, okay, so he sucks. This is something else he did that was terrible. Let's talk about COVID. And then the next week, none of us are economists, but we were like, we should probably also talk about the economy, because it came out where he had only paid $700 in taxes.
Yeah.
Like,
this seems relevant.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we did the economy. And then I had the idea, and I brought this up to Jared to do a
The economy episode hasn't been released yet, right?
No, it's going to be out next the Wednesday, which is coming up, which is a number that I can't figure it on the spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, next week, when the episode comes out Sunday, you better wait 3 fucking days to watch that episode. Episode 3, episode 6 on Wednesday. 6, ladies and gentlemen. 3 days after this episode comes out, you better watch it. If you're not watching, Jason's gonna come to your crib. He's gonna give you a little talking to.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something about my nose. I was not expecting you to actually.
They do that a lot. They always talk about Jason's nose. I'm like, y'all.
It's not y'all. It's Vic. It's Vic.
It's me. It's because it's hilarious. It's his face every time. It makes me laugh. So I have to say it.
But so for the episode we're gonna be filming this Saturday.
So I had brought to Jared and the rest of the team the idea that we could do a Biden part 2, but branching off of that, we kind of just decided to make this one about virtues. Since it's the last episode that people are going to see before the election, we were just like, all right, when it comes down to it, people can listen to all the facts and statistics that we want to give them, but at the end of the day, people are people, and they're thinking about who the people are, who they're voting for, not necessarily the things that they've done that are kind of hard to conceptualize.
Right.
Like when you hear the word or trillion and put a number next to it, that's hard for people to conceptualize. So statistics like that aren't maybe the easiest for some people to, internalize in order to vote. So we just want to talk about who they are and what they've done and what it means for our community, religious wise, ethnically, racially, what it means for us as people who are marginalized.
Yeah, we have like again, like a sneak peek, but like different perspectives in this episode. So like we're gonna tackle how these two candidates are like religiously and how that kind of works, and then we're also gonna have like an LGBTQ perspective, because Trump has said, I'm going to be such an ally to the LGBT community, and that really is not demonstrated in any way or shape or form in any policy that's done in the last 4 years. We're going to have like different perspectives on this episode as well from like our panelists, just in terms of like how Biden may be more so an ally in this regard than Donald Trump. So,
That's dope.
We try very hard. We make the conscious effort to not alienate our audience, but I know especially for me, I'm a very animated and very passionate person, so I want to say things, but I have to say them kindly and I have to say them gently. But with this episode, I anticipate it being a little bit more of a challenge because we're going to be talking about abortion. Just a little bit. We don't want to override the episode.
Conversation.
That sounds like a crazy episode right there.
Yeah, it sounds like a.
Yeah, but it
definitely got.
You guys gonna fit it in 30 minutes?
I know, that's what I said. I was like, God bless Roxana.
I was like, it's gonna be an hour long, and I'm just like, God
I know.
damn it.
But we talked about this literally in the meeting a couple days ago, where yes, it's important and it's heavy, and it's difficult to talk about, but that's exactly why we have to talk about it because it's. I didn't realize this, living in my bubble of my own family, the topic of abortion isn't something that is so prevalent. It like makes us, feel a fire that we have to vote for one candidate over another. But I realize from talking to so many other people who are part of the Latinx community and thus part of the Catholic community that it is like the one thing that drives people to vote for him. And I was like, hate that. So we're talking about
okay.
And within that, talking about women's rights, of course, and how we've politicized women's bodies.
Just over the years. I mean, it's happening even now with like the Supreme Court justice nominee. If you guys have been following, I don't mean to like digress, but like
cool. Keep going, keep flowing.
But like, with the Supreme Court justice nominee Amy Coney Barrett, there is a lot of fear, rightfully placed, that if she is if she gets chosen to be the nominee that replaces Ruth Bader Ginsburg, that she will be essentially the antithesis of what Ruth did, whereas Ruth was a champion for women's rights and equality, and Amy, quite frankly, is the opposite. She kind of, I would say in this case, she very much places her own personal set of beliefs over what is fair and what is and what we expect from Supreme Court justices, and that raises a lot of fear for women, because it's like, we're not, in my case, I think our case, I'm not saying, oh, I'm pro-choice in the sense of like, oh, I'm
telling you to go do it.
Yeah, I'm telling you to go do it. I'm just saying, maybe I won't do it for myself, but I can't stop you from doing that, because it's your body, it's yours, it's your right to do this and that. And
within this, just like to the people who are watching too, not just like to our particular audience. I would hope that the two would overlap after this.
I mean, for sure.
But I don't understand how one could claim to be pro-life, and then what happens once the baby's born? If this is a brown kid or a poor kid or a gay kid, what the hell happens to them then?
Right.
Because now you don't care about them. They're a living, breathing kid who walks the streets and nobody cares. Not nobody, but the people who are, waving the fucking flag outside the Planned Parenthood. So we really want to talk about what it means to love people who are already here, and what it means to support and advocate for people who are already on this planet, because people are going to have abortions anyway. They're going to do it.
I know, whether opinions are different, right?
Yeah, it's just going to be more dangerous, and it's going to be an even bigger problem than it is now. And so I don't understand why it's so hard for people to just want to do things safely, because if abortion is so important to these people, why is it the only thing that's important to these people? If there's police brutality to think about too, and a ton of other problems.
Yeah, I was just to add on to that, I was going to say, when we talk about the right to protect life, again, you can argue about whatever you want about unborn life, and then like what you were saying, but when it comes to the life that's already here, why aren't we allocating the resources and money that we have into, after school programs or like daycare or stuff like that, things that actually assist people who are here and would make their lives better and more beneficial. And if we're going to protect all life, then we should probably let go of those kids who are in cages at the border and stuff like that. These are things that if we're going to say, let's protect life, okay, let's talk about the ones who are already here, instead of being like, oh no, but I want to protect June's baby who I have no idea what she's like, and I won't care about it after the baby's born. These are things that, you can't be pro-life and then just ignore the life that's already here.
That has a lot to do with the idea that once Biden, hopefully,
wins,
is elected, it doesn't stop there. Like the fight doesn't end there, because we want to hold him accountable. We want to hold Kamala Harris accountable to the things they've said they're going to do for us. Like this isn't a game.
I got the goosebumps, bro. Oh shit.
So our hope is, of course, that he's elected, but also that it doesn't stop there, and that we continue to push for what we need and for what the rest of the freaking country needs. And I feel like people, they like to put their own, how do I word this in a way that is
twist?
They try to put their own like
flavor.
I don't know, like I'm trying to find like a way to say this that ain't mean, but like I feel like
just say it.
Fuck it, who cares?
They try to act like they're better than somebody else.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I can't vote for somebody that's evil. Well, baby, I'm gonna vote for somebody who's less dangerous than this one.
Right? Yeah, that's what I was saying in previous episodes. I was like, well, I don't know, like we're fucking picking poison. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like some bullshit or some bullshit. You know what I mean? It's kind of that's what it is. It's like, what do you?
You're right. It is bullshit or some bullshit. In this case, yeah.
I mean, that's what I think is weird too. Like I was talking to Vic I think it was like last week, and I was like, bro, I really don't like. If you see after especially after the presidential debate, everybody was
that
like,
shit was a fucking UFC match.
Jeez, literally, it was like,
oh my god,
it was like
they needed a fucking referee.
Same thing.
Yeah,
I felt bad for the moderator, whatever his name is, dude hosting the show, bro.
Moderator.
The moderator was fucking. Excuse me, Mr. President, keep that man.
Nah, he didn't. You need Vic up there, so Vic could be like,
I know.
Yo, shut you bitch ass up.
Yo,
bro.
Nah,
but I was saying, like, especially after the debate, you saw like how much, like, I don't want to say it's backlash, but how much people were like, yo, I don't like either of these candidates, bro. But still, November 3rd, somebody's gonna get picked. That's like the end all be all. Somebody's gonna get picked. And I was telling Vic, like, obviously we live in a world where there's not like change is not gonna happen like this, like from night to day. I wish it could, but it's not gonna happen. And I was like, bro, it doesn't make sense how we as Americans have to choose, bro. We shouldn't have to choose for our lesser evil. We should be choosing for somebody we truly think is the right person to be in office. And that's like, I don't know like what we can do as like people. Is there's a way to change that? But like, it's really like we really either got to choose between Donald Trump, who has like over the years and years of his life has clearly showed that, you know, he's got an audience, you know, it's like the people he's going at. And then, you know, you have Joe Biden, who I don't want to say he's dumb, but like he's kind of like he'd be like messing up his words and like, and obviously he's not dumb. He's been a political person his whole life. He's clearly, he knows what he's been doing. He became the vice president. He has some credentials behind him. But like, still, it's not like what we want, because who's we is the problem then too, you know. Oh God, see, this is what every time I started talking about politics, I feel like I get to a place where it's just like so complicated, and it shouldn't be this complicated. Should it be this complicated? I don't know. See,
I don't know. This is what gets me. I feel like that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's too like there's so many levels and so many steps that you have to like read or like research and stuff, so that people are like misinformed, bro. And you're kind of like, and especially with the media platforms, bro, Trump is the best, and then you go on another channel, fuck him, you know what I mean? It's like I was telling you're always confused, bro. You're always feels like you're always trying to like juggle, bro, and like they're keep like, adding another ball.
Who do you trust? Who do you trust is really the problem. Like I remember, like especially like right after the Black Lives Matter, like George Floyd, like the riot started. I was like, all right. So I go on to CNN.com, right? And it shows CNN obviously is like they're always talking about how Trump is ass, like that Trump is an idiot, right? So you go on to CNN and you see, oh, Trump talks about calls the Black Lives Matter people the terrorists or something like this, and like, you know, it's like saying that Trump is bad for this, right? And then I go to Fox News and I see on Fox News it's like, these black people are rioters, they're terrorists, they're destroying our cities. And you can see just from literally, that was just the top headlines, bro. I didn't even look at any of the news, but based off of the top headlines, you can see the different audiences that each of these news channels is trying to target. And that's where I'm like, really, how it's not easy to find like trustable, unbiased information so that you can create an opinion for yourself. Like, you know, I don't know.
To that, I want to say, this is also for anybody who's watching. For me, I think the most credible sources, if you want to find like genuine, unbiased news sources, I trust Associated Press, which is also hyphenated as AP. It's probably backwards if I do it this way, but AP, NPR, National Public Radio. Washington Post can sometimes be more left lenient.
Yeah, for sure.
But they have a very credible, very acclaimed background, and those are the three sources I always trust to get my news sources from. And yeah, I agree with you in the sense that like the news cycle has become so polarized, where it's like if you're not radical right leaning, then you're left leaning, and there's no in between, and this and that, and it's become a very toxic environment to consume news in. And but my only thing is I try to look at it from what I think is an unbiased perspective, where it's like, okay, if I strip away this person's background politically, this and that, and I just look at them for the actions that they've done, then it's easy for me to form an opinion on them. So it's like, if I forget that Trump ever ran for president, or Trump is the current president or whatever, and I just look at just the true actions that he's done, for instance, with the tax scandal that broke out. If any average person, for instance, were to not pay their taxes for that many years, to be that wealthy and not pay their taxes for that many years, or to pay as little as he's paid, any average person would be thrown into jail immediately, like without a doubt.
So I got a question on that. So did he not pay taxes, or was it that he played the system and got to pay less taxes? Minimum?
It's kind of both. Yeah, because there were certain years where he paid zero in taxes.
Yeah, because he like filed for bankruptcy, like a loophole in the system, right?
It was something along those lines, where his lawyer team were like, they were able to write off so many things, or they were able to write in his failed businesses enough that he didn't have to pay anything. And then 2015 or 16, it was one of those years though he only paid in total like $750. Yeah. And again, like I think he wrote off like a haircut that was $70,000, which I just don't understand. Because
I mean, I look at it like this.
For $70,000.
I look at it like this. Like
I never
doesn't that dude have fake hair, bro?
Yo, chill.
What the fuck?
Nah. But I look at it like this though. Like if it's cause he's in a position of power, right? He gets to the chance to make that decision. Like, yo, I have a company and I can write off all this stuff so that I can, like, the idea of writing off stuff on your taxes, I think is a good idea.
But like, here's the thing. But at what point does it go from smart to conniving?
Okay, yeah, that.
Because there's a point where it's like, and again, like your taxes go to like social programs, like Social Security, Medicaid, stuff like that. So like to the streets basically. And if this is a man who if he so claims to want to help the American people, then you can start with the most basic average thing, which is just simply paying your taxes. So it's like, or do you want to say something?
I want to wait for you, but I just wanted to say.
Okay, and no, I was going to finish off with, again, like, these are social programs that help people you want to defend every single day. And if you can't be bothered as a billionaire to allow that some of your money be taken for taxes, then how can we trust you as somebody who's willing to protect us when you're just trying to save your neck at that point?
Because to your point, isn't it smart to write things off in your taxes? Yes, if you're us. If you're in a position where you're kind of reaching for what you can get. You're a millionaire and running an entire country, the free world, you're an asshole. Yeah. You're not even willing to help your people financially, which is the only way, frankly, that you're even able to help. Right. Because any other way, morally, no. Literally the only thing you can offer us is your money, and you're not willing to do that. And I want to say this now because I'm attention deficit, and if I don't say it now, I'm not going to say it ever. I'm going to forget. Yeah. But I said this before in the episode, in a few episodes. But if you're undecided, if you're worried about how you're going to feel when you go home on November 3rd after voting, you feel guilty for having voted for Biden. Listen, a vote for Biden is simply just a vote against Trump. That's all it is. Because like I mentioned before, it doesn't stop when Biden is elected. We're going to continue to fight for what we. But also voting for Biden is then opening a door for us to one day vote for somebody who we actually want to vote for. Because if we vote for Trump, when is that going to happen? When are we ever going to get to vote for somebody who we want, who we feel advocates for us, and who we feel is going to protect us? And so no vote at all is literally just a vote for Trump. And you're taking away a vote from Biden. And also people who have the argument that their vote doesn't matter at all, then why is he trying so hard to suppress your vote? Why are they literally snatching polling places out from where they were? Why are they making it so difficult for people to reach polling places? And why are they creating so many little intricate issues for people to no longer be able to vote because of one little thing? And so that's really all it is. I realize how frustrating it is to have to vote for somebody who you don't trust. But if we want to make change, we have to start with where we have any power at all. Because if we don't take advantage of the power we do have, we're never going to get any more of that power that we want.
Right. I'm gonna use that as a segue. So, my fault, Vic.
No, I was gonna say.
Go ahead. I was gonna transition now, but if you want to say something, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think the reason why it's so difficult, things like that, I think it's designed that way. Like I think it's designed. That might just be me and my
the conspiracy
shit that I'm always on. But I just think it's supposed to be difficult to create change. Like the thing that everyone wants most, right, is change. But the thing that people don't like is change. So I feel like it's kind of a difficult thing that they
implement. There's always implement. Like push one way and push the other way. But I was gonna use that as a segue. So you were talking about how like that you guys like the whole thing that you guys do on the show is, you know, you introduce it and then would you go into uncovering myths, which I think that's dope because there's a lot of things that people claim to be true but might not be true, and you guys come in with facts and real stuff that'll, you know, uncover that's a myth. So how did you guys decide to make that a portion of the show?
Jared.
Yeah, it's all Jared.
Jared, yeah. Jared and Jose Palma, they were saying how really it started with that idea that like Trump is a God-fearing man, which is laughable, is it not? Don't you just want to fucking so he says that, and really a lot of what we talk about in the show comes out of natural organic conversation between us as a team and as friends, like outside of talking about this particular project. And so we were talking about that, and he says this, right? Like he's at least better than the godless Democrats, and we laugh because it's hilarious. And then we start thinking about all the things that he's done, not just, you know, to women or to people of color or to people of the LGBTQ community, but things that come out of his own mouth. Right. Like just like there's no better place to go to shit on Trump than Trump himself.
Go on his Twitter, just go on his Twitter, bro.
Right. So oh God, where was I?
There's no better place to shit on Trump than Trump himself.
Yes, attention deficit.
Yeah.
So
you're good.
So as I was saying, when we have those conversations and we think about what we're gonna uncover, it comes from what we've been told from other people. Like not even things that we've just seen on Facebook or something, but like actual conversations that we have with people.
Right.
Because it's surprised me how many people in our age group, how many people we know who are so willing to argue with us.
What do you mean?
Who find fault in what we're doing. It surprises me. And I don't say that because I think that we're perfect or because I think we're doing the greatest thing in the entire world, but it's surprising to me that people have an issue with us wanting other people to vote.
So what kind of stuff do they say that makes you like?
I've had people literally give me like photo markups. Of things that like I've posted to like an Instagram story or things that we put like in our myths portion and being like, this isn't true and this isn't true. And I'm like, well, literally it is. Google is free. Like we wouldn't put something in a video that was untrue.
Make us cry.
Like I'm not gonna put something in our video with our names on it that's not true.
I'm not gonna embarrass us like that.
I know.
And you guys put the sources at the end.
Literally,
so people will call us like misinformed, which truly is hysterical.
It's
like
cute.
Honestly, you're witty and clever. I think that's cute. But yeah, so people like to make the argument that we're vote shaming, which is interesting because we've said before that we don't want to alienate anybody. But also, if you feel shame, that's not on me. That's on you.
That's true.
And that's just me. Like, if you feel a sort of way after you watch even like 30 seconds of me talking, then like, girl, that's not my problem. You're the one who doesn't want to vote, and now you feel stupid about it. So like, sorry.
But I think that's the hardest thing to do in this fucking country is to convince people to vote. I feel like people think it's bullshit. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. I was one of those people. Like, my mom would be like, "You gotta vote," and I'd be like, "For what? It doesn't affect me." That's legit how I used to think. But now, you know, I'm getting informed, ladies and gentlemen. You feel me? And I'm just like, I'm starting like me and Roxana. We had a conversation. It started off like a couple weeks ago. I was like, "Yo," I was talking about having a guest, and she was like, "Oh, I could be your guest," and I was like, "Sweet." what would we talk about? Should we start diving into like politics and stuff? And I was like, what the fuck? I was getting riled up. I was fucking angry, right? Because it's so much bullshit in this world, right? And I was like, man, what the fuck? And I was like, man, I gotta start voting. I gotta start being part of this, starting to, be, fucking educated and all this stuff. And it's like, how do you convince people to vote? I have a quote from episode 1 Informed, ladies and gentlemen, right? Where Iliana says, in episode 1, right? She goes, when you're more informed, you realize that you care more than you might think you do. So the problem that I have, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, by the way. But the problem I have is like, all right, that's facts. That quote is facts. But how do you get people to see the importance and be informed about politics or about social issues or about just, you know what I mean? Things that affect their daily fucking lives. You know what I'm saying?
To that, I was just saying to the little story you had about you and I, that story makes me laugh because as I was telling Vic, you need to vote, you need to get out there and vote. I was also like looking up how to get a Canadian visa in case Trump. I was just having a bad idea. I need a plan B in case none of this works out.
Yeah.
But but to what after Vic stops joking.
Oh shit.
She's dead ass.
I'm being so serious. There was actually a spike in Massachusetts for like Google searches and like how to get Canadian visas like after the
Oh wow.
And I was part of that. I was definitely not feeling good that night. But to what
oh shit, I'm sorry.
No, I'm glad you're having a good time.
It's okay, baby, don't worry. We gotta have some laughs now. But
oh my god. That's facts, ladies and gentlemen. That's facts.
Oh my god, he's dead.
I'm dying. Oh my god.
Yo, you're mashing your hat in the jersey, bro.
Oh my god.
Let her speak.
Yeah, keep going.
I just wanted to say to what Vic was saying about making other people care about their vote and care about making each other vote. It's definitely an issue that we run into because I don't know how to make people care about other people if they just already don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to convince people because literally what we're doing is we're asking people to become more empathetic. We're asking people to say, I may not understand the struggle you have, but I'm with you. And when we say we want Biden to win, it's not because we think he's the grand, because he's a god, or he's this grand all be all candidate or whatever. It's because we can recognize that what he has said he's willing to do for minority groups and for marginalized communities, and really just any community who has been overlooked by the Trump administration, far exceeds any promises that Trump has made. And I also don't want to belittle anybody's like reasoning. It's like, because I understand that, again, Biden voted on the 94 crime bill, and I would never want to take away, I would never want to dismiss anybody's feelings on that ever, because I know that was an awful decision. And
for the people at home, can you explain what that is? I don't know what that is.
If you want.
So when I talk about this, I get like hype. Because somebody basically tried to tell me that I didn't care about Black and brown lives because I was voting for Biden, and Biden had his foot in the 1994 crime bill, which led to the 3 strikes policy that led to the mass incarceration of Black and brown people. However, I've said this before and I'll say it a million times. My vote for Biden doesn't equate to a full 100% alignment with him. I recognize his blemishes and I don't fully trust him, but I trust him far more than I will ever trust Donald Trump a day in my life. And so I also think it's important to recognize that people can change, even though I don't necessarily always believe that it's happened when people say that it has.
Yeah.
I think it's important to at least hope for it, because how can we want a world that is less terrible, and then once people are trying to get there, even if they were in a place that was racist or problematic in any other way, how are we having a problem with that?
Right.
Like, I want you to be better. I want you to make a promise to me that you're not going to be like this anymore. And I'll say too, like he had the opportunity to say Black Lives Matter and he didn't. And I don't respect that at all. But I also recognize in a very detached way, in a way that, again, like I said, I have no respect for it, but I recognize that he is trying to still keep the people who would be upset by the words Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
I think those people fucking suck.
Yeah,
but I also recognize that he's trying to keep his vote like as big as possible. Like as many people that need to vote him in.
Yeah.
And so while I wish he did say Black Lives Matter, because they do and he needs to say it, I realized why he didn't, because you know saying that might make his vote count lower.
It's like a game of hopscotch, bro. You have to like hop around with the right things, because you want to keep, you know what, that's like I was telling Vic. All right, I have like 3 things backed up in my head. The first thing I'm gonna say, you said that you think that we need to get people, you're trying to ask people to be more empathetic. If you could do that, you'll solve every problem in the world. Because that's literally why people are racist. They're not empathetic. They don't understand why people are in, like, black and brown people have a more struggle, why there's more crime in their areas, because they're not being empathetic. They don't put themselves in that shoe. So we could do that. You know, obviously, I think all of our problems will go away, and we'll actually have good candidates for president too. But 2, you were saying about keeping the votes. So one thing I think I was telling Vic earlier, I was like, bro, I feel like the reason Trump says like some stuff and doesn't say some stuff is because he knows who his audience is. Like, I feel like the same way, what's his name? Joe Biden didn't say Black Lives Matter is probably why he said stand down, stand by for the Proud Boys, because that's his audience, bro. That's literally the people who are gonna vote for him, is that audience, which obviously this is stupid, bro. You should be able to be like, yo, we're good people, we want a good president, but I think it's the game of politics, is because it's a game sometimes, and it's too much like a game sometimes. It's like really like a team. It's like sometimes I feel like you're a Democrat, you have to think
you gotta cheer for the Yankees or the Red Sox, bro.
Like, yeah,
there's
and
no ifs, ands, or buts.
The same way, if I'm a Red Sox fan, I hate the Yankees fans just because they're a Yankees fan. If I'm a Democrat, I have to hate a Republican, which I feel like that's not the right way, because then that's how we get division in this country, bro. And that's like one thing I think is like, do you think that the 2-party system is actually like you know,
beneficial to anybody?
It's like, is it efficient, or like, is it good?
No, not at all.
Sorry.
No, you're
I think that you know, division is such an issue, and it's so important to educate people lovingly and gently, but it's also really hard for people, myself sometimes, to receive education from people, because you want to feel like you have nothing to learn from anybody, like you already have it figured out, and it's so rare to come across people who are willing to just listen and ask questions that are actually meaningful and foster actual conversation that is beneficial for everybody involved. Because a lot of people, like, you know, a lot of our parents or our friends' parents, they don't want to hear anything from us about like simple shit, let alone politics. So when you try to educate people and try to make them just care, I think what it comes down to is the way in which you say things. So that's why I always try to be conscious of how loud I'm talking, how fast I'm talking, the inflection in my voice. Did I cuss? Like,
I gotta work on that. All of it.
and that's like outside of politics too, because even today, like, I came here after teaching, right? And so today we had a Socratic seminar, and my kids are talking to each other and they're asking really amazing questions. My kids are so insightful. They're in AP Lit, by the way. So like they're older and they're talking about things that really, you know,
You teach high school?
Yes, I do.
What high school?
Beast.
Chelsea High School?
Yeah. Full circle.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Damn, that's crazy. So are you and William talk to each other about school? Because I know he's a teacher.
I see him tweeting how he's playing Among Us during class, and I scream. I'm like, sir, because which means I'm playing Among Us, and I'm like, what? But anyway, in class today, the kids are talking about, you know, is this ever gonna end? And I feel bad. I feel really bad just kind of sitting there and hearing them talk about it, because they're so hopeful, but not. And we feel the same way. Like, I can't tell them that this will end one day, or that they will have somebody in power who cares about them and their family and their friends and their community. I can't say that. I don't know. And I don't even know that I believe it. But it sucks though. Like, I feel like when you're in places where you hear youth talk like that, then you might actually start to care a little bit more. And I feel like people don't get that opportunity, and it's not their fault that they don't get that opportunity. But I don't know. I think you have to go out of your way, and you have to seek like new environments and seek new conversation with different people, because if you just stay in your bubble forever, then what the hell, when are you going to learn? And that's a choice that people make. People forget that. It's a choice you make to learn. And it's a choice that you make to be accountable for who you are as an adult. Like, if you think that you're a good person, then you need to demonstrate that you are one, which, again, I can talk about forever. But
I think I always say this: the beautiful thing about being human is the ability to change. And like I've seen it. Like, this white dude, right? His name is Drew Brees. He plays for New Orleans Saints, right? He said, like, a week after George Floyd got murdered, right? He said some bullshit. He was like, I don't care. What the fuck he said?
You
shouldn't
kneel.
Care.
You shouldn't kneel.
Yeah, I don't care under any circumstances. You shouldn't kneel you shouldn't kneel for the flag. My grandpa was in the military. Blah blah blah. Whatever. You know what I mean? And it was like, what the fuck? And I was like, Drew Brees one, like, he's a beast, right? And I was like, yo, he got some, he got records and stuff. And I was like, fuck him. Like, yo, what are you saying? You're a fucking idiot. And he came to the media and he was like, listen, I was wrong. And he basically was like, I got to learn from my black teammates, this and that. I was unaware of the things I was saying. I thought I was just protecting my grandpa, this and that. And now I'm like, all right, he's a cool dude, because he kind of learned from the bullshit. You know what I mean? He had that capability to change, and everybody has that instilled in them. It's just if you fucking want it or not. Like you said, educating yourself is a fucking choice. Whether I could tell you everything that I know in my life, but if you don't take that shit and run with it, that's your fucking problem. I already did my job. I try to help you as much as I could. But if you don't get, the grasp of whatever the fuck I'm saying, or that Black Lives Matter, whatever I'm saying, then that's your fault. That's not my fault, bro. I tried to do what I had to do.
I think it speaks a lot to who we are as a people when people like us, if we try to have conversations with our families or with anybody outside of our, sphere of friends who are like-minded people, who, like, if we're told that we're being sensitive, or we're asking too much, or we're naive, that just speaks to who we are as a people and the ways that we've been taught to be selfish and cynical. Because that's how the world has worked up until now. Nothing has worked. Nothing is going well, obviously. Things are just masked and are made to appear as though they've been better than they are, or than they were before. But I don't know. It's really sad. It's sadder than anything in the world to me, how people they choose cynicism and they choose selfishness over anything else, out of survival at its very core. But people are just unwilling to look outside of the things that affect them.
Yeah. I was gonna say just super briefly, like I like, one of the things I do enjoy is like when I see things like, Democrats for Texas or groups like that, and it's like we see these nice, and they don't have to necessarily be Democrats, but if they are able to if they come from like a very rural or very conservative area, and they're able to see for themselves, and they're able to like kind of see past what they've been taught and kind of see for themselves, oh my God, like all these injustices that are happening within my own sphere, within my own country, and they're able to look past that and try to do better for themselves. That's very demonstrative of the fact that, people are able to change. People are able to look past what they've been taught their entire life, which is not easy. Like learning is difficult, but unlearning itself is so difficult. Like to erase what you've been literally taught, what you've been taught to raise. Sorry.
Since you were a kid, yeah.
Yeah, what you've been taught to learn your entire life, what you have been preached about your entire life, to unlearn that and decide for yourself, no, this set of values is wrong, and this is the set I'm gonna adopt from now on. That is so difficult.
Yeah.
So when people make the conscious effort to say, like what Vic was saying about the football player, and how he was able to say, oh my God, like I didn't consider this perspective, and because of that my mind has changed. That's commendable, and that's such a commendable thing to see. Nice. So, and you said one time this thing, it's like, you said this thing one time where it's like, if like the point of our efforts to combat racism is to make these racists not racist anymore, then that's what you said. We
need to be able to have compassion for people.
You said it, yeah.
Even when it's hard to do that. Yeah. Like, which I really, like you said, Jason, like if we could just be compassionate and empathetic, that could solve everything. But also we need to remember to have compassion for people who don't seem like they deserve it, because they need it the most, I think. Which is like hard to put in practice. Like it's hard to actually do that. But at the end of the day, it's like I know, like when I'm in, as a student myself, like when I'm in class and I'm the only person of color in the room and somebody says some crazy shit, like I have to
I get fucking pissed.
Yeah, like I'm mad, but I'm also gonna think about, all right, like how can I approach you in such a way that will actually do something?
Yeah.
Like that will actually change this. Because if I just come at you mad as hell, because I am mad as hell, I'm just, I'm just angry, and then I'm sensitive, and I just want to fight with you. But I don't want to fight with you, and I want to talk to you.
Understand.
Yeah.
And I want you to understand why what you said or what you perpetuate, why it's harmful. And I don't know, I feel like we just have to literally just remind ourselves all the time. And I know that that's hard and it's exhausting, and it feels like we are doing so much and it's to no avail. Like, why should I try so hard to be a good person if nobody's, reciprocating that to me? Well, at the end of the day, it's like you're either trying or you're not.
Yeah.
And so even if it doesn't do anything, you get to go to bed at night knowing that you're trying your hardest. And no matter what anybody else is doing or thinking, you're doing you. And you're trying to do your best for what you can do.
I think that, so I've had similar situations where like somebody says something and I'm just like, the fuck did you say? The fuck did you just say? Like in my head. But I think it's like taking a step back and having patience, like, being like, I understand, most likely you're just ignorant. Like, I mean, it's not your fault that you're probably saying this stuff. You just been taught to say this stuff your whole life. And I think what's tough is like going to the other person and telling them what you think when you know for a fact they're probably not going to listen just because of what you look like already, bro. Like literally they're talking shit about you. Why would they respect you enough to give you the time of day for you to help them understand something? So that's another thing that's like, it's hard. Like it really is hard, bro, to like keep your composure.
You're cool,
not
bro.
want to them up. Like that's literally like straight up. That's like, I'd be like looking at people sometimes and they're saying some ignorant shit. And I'm like, you should get smacked. Like that's like you should, like, so you can understand what you deserve is a smack in the mouth, bro, or some shit, because you clearly do not understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but I think what I do is really just be like, what are you saying? Like, what are you talking? It's just ask questions, because like, I don't think that they understand that what they're saying is the wrong thing. Like I have a friend who was white and he grew up in a community that was like white, right? Like 3 black people or some shit like that, right? So he didn't know when he came to school that he ended up being like the room right next to me, right? So we became good friends. He was cool, whatever. And he would just like say stuff that I'd be like, yo, is he being racist? Like I couldn't tell. So instead of me being mad and be like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're mad racist. I was like, yo, do you realize what you said like hurt my could hurt somebody's feelings, bro, and hurt my feelings? And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, and I would explain it to him slowly, like, yo, this is what I think, and this is what it made me feel like when you said that. And I'd be like, yo, did you think that you were doing that when you said what you said? And he was like, nah, bro, I was just saying it. Like, those are just jokes that I used to have with my friends. And I'm like, all right, so clearly they can obviously joke all they want about black people and about Hispanic people and about anybody, Asians or whatever minority. They can joke about it in their city because nobody's going to say nothing. They're growing up in a city where people are looking like them. So I'm like, all right, I think it's like our job, as us, that when we get to have the opportunity to be in rooms with these types of people, it's our job to like be patient and not only be patient, but be like, strong at it, bro. Like be strong enough to be like, yo, I'm not afraid of you, and let's get a conversation. What's wrong? Why do you think this? What makes you think that you're better, or what makes you think that I'm worse? Like, it's confusing to me. And then you get their perspective, and maybe that's what opens up the chance for them to want to be change. Because like you said, if you come at them with the fury, bro, it's gonna be like, all right, yo, get out of here, bro. I don't respect you, and that's it.
That's hard though. That's a hard fight to do. I did it every day for like 3 years, bro. You know what I mean? Like, bro, being the only Spanish dude on the team, like, and I worked at the bank. Like, it's weird, bro. It's like, you guys know me. Someone says something to me, I say some bullshit back. You know what I mean? A clap back quick, always. You know what I mean? But it's like a thing where I felt like I was always holding my tongue, or I felt like I couldn't say certain things because I felt like I was like I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for my people too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like, if I
honestly,
fuck you, what the
not
fuck?
even just
What
for
the
your
fuck you
people.
talking about? You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
for them
yeah.
too. It's for them too. It's
Yeah,
more
yeah,
for
but
them
like,
than anybody.
I felt like if I were to like act up, you know what I mean, clap back like, oh, yo, you're a bitch or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like all the hard work I did to get to the race, I would have just been like, it would have been for no fucking reason, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, it was, I'm telling you, bro, it's tough as fuck. I did it every fucking day and I got tired of it. As Jason, I wasn't myself. I was like, to not be yourself every day is mad hard. It's the hardest thing you could ever do, but it's the game we have to play to conquer it one day. You know what I mean? So I understand that, but like you guys said, it's not fucking easy. Because even me, I mean, I try to, I don't know, but I try to have great positive energy or whatever. But it deteriorated who the fuck I was, bro. As
like
a person.
breaking you down.
Yeah, like it like chiseled me, bro. And I left, bro, because I fucking couldn't, bro.
It sucks that it's our responsibility, because at the end of the day, like, white people can't learn that much from white people, right? Like, they have to learn from us. And I'm speaking specifically about white people. We can also talk about any other marginalized group of people, but specifically like people of color and white people. Like, it's hard for us to have that responsibility where we have to teach because it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And you're like, I shouldn't have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should just be willing to learn on your own. But at the same time, like I said, white people can't learn that much from white people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I feel like we have to recognize the power that's in that, though, like how powerful that is to be able to teach people, even when they're not listening in that moment. Maybe 2 years from now they'll remember what we said to them and they'll be like, oh shit.
I think it's also difficult because, for instance, some of these stereotypes that come with being a person of color, for instance, you don't want to, like, as Latinas, we don't want to like lash out and then become the angry Latina who like,
Stereotype.
the spicy Latina who's gonna come at your neck, or in other instances like the angry Black girl, or the angry. It's usually with like a person of color that angry
whatever,
whatever it is. It's hard because, again, it's like what Vic was saying, where it's like we want to be seen as this very well-to-do professional kind of personality, and sometimes that might even chip away at like what we consider ourselves. Like, I think we're pretty bubbly, nice people for the most part, but sometimes we can be a little loud, and so we have to like, sometimes we feel like we have to tuck that in, even though it's part of who we are.
I had to go like drop off my forms, like my Corey forms and like my fingerprints at the a little while ago. And like I got there, like first of all, when I called before I left my house, I called to let them know that I was going inside because you gotta call City Hall before you go. And I start talking, I introduce myself, and the Caucasian woman on the phone goes, "No, I didn't hear one word. Say that again." And I go, "Ma'am, excuse me, if you needed me to repeat myself, you needed to ask me politely." And she was like, because she didn't expect that.
Mm-hmm.
She thought that I was gonna cower and be submissive and be like, "Oh, sorry, ma'am." I'm like, bitch, no, the fuck? Why are you? I'm like, how dare you? But also at the same time, I've definitely been in positions where I felt so embarrassed afterward because I was like cowering, or I was feeble in front of a white person, and I hate that, but it's real. And I'm like,
you be scared, bro. It's like some, like the one thing, like if we're uncovering myths, informed uncovering myths. So one myth that I've heard a lot from white people is that they say that they don't have white privilege, right? And the thing, I think that the reason that they might not feel privileged in themselves, they're not living life like, all right, I'm better. I have a privilege for something. It's more like you don't have the negative effects of your skin color being different is the privilege that you have. Like, for example, a white person never has to defend their race. Who are they going to defend their race from other than maybe us when we get tight that, yo, you're fucking white and you think you're better than us. That's the only person that they have to defend themselves from. And that's only because they're probably acting a way where they think they're better than us. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's already a privilege right there, is that you don't have to defend yourself. Like, literally, we got to carry this whole, not even the burden of me being 22. I'm trying to better my life and be a person, an individual. I got to put on top of that, I'm a Hispanic male that's going to, struggle. You guys have to put on top of that, I'm a Hispanic woman. A woman already has more struggle than a man. So it's like, we as individuals already we have stuff holding us back from being where you guys are or where white people are, because you guys have that privilege where you don't have to be like that. Or another one too is you don't have to be afraid of a cop trying to shoot you. Plain and simple. That's the privilege you have of not being afraid to live your life the way you want to live it. You know, that's uncovering myths right there, you know?
Real quick, Jason, bro. When we were walking the streets, bro, Black Lives Matter, bro. I was scared for your life, bro. This man was going up to police officers, fist in the air, and he was like, just giving it to them. You know what I mean? And I was, you know, I'm over here, you know, chanting or whatever, but I was like, dude, I think, you know, you're kind of like testing the waters with your life, bro. I was scared for my boy's life. You know what I mean? And it was like, and it was like a thing, bro. Like, I was like, man, this dude Jason is for it, bro. And he gave me like the confidence, bro. Like I felt like I was like, you know what I mean? Because
like in that moment, the thing I was saying to them was, you know, like we were literally like going on protests, right? And then there was like, bro, cops like down the line, like, bro, I probably saw 500 cops that night,
bro. National Guard,
500 cops, and I'm like, bro, I'm like looking at these dudes, and I'm like, wow, there's so many fucking cops. My next thought was, bro, these dudes are getting paid overtime, not just regular pay. They're getting paid overtime, and the reason they're getting paid overtime was because George Floyd got murdered in the middle of the street, so that made people want to go and protest. So then they got to work. So basically, they're getting paid overtime because a Black man died. So I was trying to appeal to their senses, you know, and be like, yo, you guys are making extra money and you guys don't deserve this at all. Not one bit. You don't deserve it. You should, I hope you do something good with that extra money you do. Donate it to some charity that's helping Black people. Donate to even anything, like anything, but it's not your money. It shouldn't be your money. You shouldn't be looking at that paycheck and happy about that. You should be pissed that number is bigger than it was, because that was because a Black man died. That shit's fucking crazy to me. And that's when I was like, bro, I don't even care, bro. Fuck it. If I die because I'm saying this shit, fuck it, dude. Whatever. I'm trying to get this message across.
Yo, Jay, I don't know if you remember. There was a moment, bro, where they were on the bikes, bro, and they separated me and you. They went between us, bro.
The tactics,
dude, I was, bro, hands up. I was shaking, bro. I was like, oh man, I'm done for, bro. I got the beard, bro. I'm Spanish, bro. I'm Hispanic, bro. I'm about to get fucked up, bro. Like, yo, one look at the cop, I'm getting banged on, bro. I was mad scared, bro. And that's just bro, I'll look up to till the day I die, bro. Because of that, bro. For many things, but because of that, it's not you. I forgot, it's not you.
And the timing of all that is so crazy because, mind you, we're still in the pandemic. Yeah. Mind you, as that was all happening. So police were being paid overtime. Meanwhile, you know, hospitals and essential forces are being underpaid, and they're not being paid, you know, emergency money and stuff like that, even though they're the ones who are actually risking their lives every single day in the midst of a pandemic to do this. And it's like, and again, we could talk about like defunding the police all we want, but my kind of thing is just like, you know, the police, like Boston police budgeting, I don't remember what the exact number of it was, but I think it was somewhere around the 100 millions or something like that. And it's like, why is this police force being allotted that much money? Meanwhile, hospitals at the time were like scrambling to find PPE, to like, they were wearing like trash bags as like gowns at that point. And it's like, how are we going to treat the people who are actually putting their lives on the line? Treat them like this. And then the police who are literally, you know, I think at that time there were reports of like police brutality and tear gassing and stuff like that. And it's like, we're paying them extra time. We're paying them overtime for this when they really don't deserve it. They're really, you know, what is it, like protect and serve or stuff like that, when you're really just harming the people that you're supposed to protect, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's murky waters talking about that shit, because there's literally like, if you honestly, I feel like talking about any social issue is like tough, bro. Like for me, like there's so many things going on. Black Lives Matter, the presidential election. There's Muslim people getting concentration camps in China. There's these people like all over the world. There's all these issues. And especially now with social media, it's like easy. It's so easy to find out about them. Like you see it. And bro, I feel like it's like it becomes our burden. Like I have to live my life knowing I'm trying to live my life, be, you know, Jason being, you know, I'm trying to live a good life, whatever. But I feel like I'm being selfish by doing that because because I'm not paying attention to all these issues. And it really, I feel like it's a struggle. Like I don't know how people don't go insane. I mean, people probably are going insane. Like you got to be thinking about this shit daily, bro. Every single day something's going on, and it's so easy. The news will come to you, and I literally, there'll be days where I like start scrolling on Twitter, and there's just so many issues, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
bruh, what do I do, bro? Like, and I don't know what it is. I really think that people just have to find a way to like pick and choose the issues they want to deal with, because like there's not, I don't even know, like it's tough, bro, because our generation, that I think that's, but again, that the fact that we have the chance to speak through social media and everything, and we get to see all these issues, we actually do have the chance to make some change because we get to speak to each other so easily. So it's like a burden, and it's good in the what, but I feel like I'd be struggling to live my life because this world is hard, bro. Like literally, it's hard.
I think that this is kind of a simple answer and maybe a little bit of a cop out, but like we're not built to receive this much trauma every single day. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not supposed to know what's happening in China. Like social media was made by us, and so now I do. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I should absolutely know what's happening over there, and I should be aware of what's happening in the world and how humans are treating each other. But even if I can't do something right now, immediately in this moment, to help somebody who I want to help so bad, who I don't even know, I can do the little things where I am. Mm-hmm. Like things like this, like having conversations with people who care, like and people having conversations with people who don't care. And even if you don't want to have a conversation with somebody, do something for them, I think. Like, and I feel like sometimes people want recognition so bad for the nice things that they do.
That's stupid.
Just do them.
Yeah. Stupid.
Like, just be kind. Like, just do things that you can do. And if you feel like there's something that you can do, I don't know, do some research. like, can you donate to a school?
Yeah.
Or could you donate to a woman's shelter? Or any other homeless shelter? Like what can you do then? And not even like financially, but like things in your house that you're no longer using, or food, or literally anything that you could do, or even just being kind to people, just being nice and just being
patient. That's the one.
Like literally just that. Like it's so easy for people to be like, have that mentality where it's like, nothing bothers me. Like I'm unfazed. I remain unbothered. Or like, can't nobody fuck with me? I'm a bad bitch. And it's like, girl, could you just be nice? I'm like, what is cute about that? Or like, what is nice about being a tough guy? Like none of that is cute. Like just be kind to people.
Yeah.
I think that's like the, if there's anything I could do, right, is I try to be as nice as possible to like people I don't know, right? Obviously, like, Jason, he's like a brother to me. I'll roast him about his nose.
Yeah.
It could be considered mean, but I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, it's all out of love. I don't mean it maliciously. I'm not over here fucking, oh man, how can I insult Jason today to fucking hurt his feelings?
Oh, we don't know, buddy.
And it's like me and Jason, we cleaned up the streets, right? And last week we cleaned up the streets. It was awesome. We did like a event with Bruce Buddha. He's a beast. He's one of my good friends, right?
Another one coming up soon too.
Another one coming up. He's a beast. Yeah, he's awesome. But yeah, so and like I posted some pics, right? I just wanted to bring some awareness. I wanted people to come. People were hitting me up like, "Yo, man, you're a beast, bro. Like, yo, you're awesome, man. Like, this is awesome." And I was just like, "Listen, man, it's not me. I'm no one. I'm just Victor Rodriguez, and I'm just doing what I think is right, and I'm just trying to bring awareness to it." I was like, "Yo, it's not me. I'm not a god or nothing. I'm not awesome. You know what I mean? It's just I'm legit. I'm influenced, bro. Like I'm just influenced by good people. I've been fortunate enough to have just great people in my life. You too, Jason. I've known you guys for forever. It's just influence. My parents. I've been influenced to think like this. It's not me. It's you guys. You know what I mean? My circle, my people that have helped me become who I am. I'm not a fucking special person. Yo, man, anyone could pick up some trash. You know what I mean? Anyone could just grab some bags, bro, go with the homies and clean some streets. Like, because I don't know. I just thought we thought it was something important that we really had to fucking do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think it's off of like what I was saying earlier about the world being hard. Like, there's so many things, so many issues that I was just like, bro, we got to do something. I can't just sit here and be so like struggling to understand why there's so much struggle in the world. I might as well go and make some sort of change by doing something with myself. You know, that's the least I can do. That's literally the bare minimum I can do is do something, you know, because doing nothing is not doing nothing, you know. Even these conversations, like at first I thought our conversations were I was like, it was nothing, but then I was realizing like, yo, if somebody's listening, they have the chance to then think freely for themselves to understand like, yo, stuff is going on. What can I do? Like, you know, just thinking that they get people thinking, because that's something that's not hard, not easy for anybody, bro. Like to get, if somebody says something stupid in the class and I'm gonna be like, yo, why'd you just say that shit? They're most likely not gonna be like, oh, shut up. Like it's not easy to get people thinking, bro. But the chance that we do give people by having the conversations, that was beautiful. And I was like, bro, we could do more, of course. And we're starting to move. I'm trying to think of some more stuff. We're gonna, I'm just, bro, this world is fucked up. As much as it is, there's good and there's bad. I love this world because I get to be with my brother Vic right here. It's just fun. We had a 2-hour podcast with ourselves on the phone earlier. I was just sitting looking out the window, just thinking, because that's just, though this world is awesome because I get to do that. But I have to be able to express some positivity into it somehow. So that's why we decided to do that. I hope we continue to do it. And that's, that's us. So another thing, bro, I was thinking, so going back to what you guys were saying about the voting, right? So we were talking about how voting, it's hard to get people to vote, right? And so I was telling Vic earlier, bro, I was like, bro, you know what pisses me off, bro? Somehow
he was pissed, ladies and gentlemen. Like, actually,
I was pissed off. I've been pissed off for years, bro. Don't worry about it. But I was like, we as American citizens, right, have no idea how the American political system works because we are not taught it in school at all. That is the stupidest shit I've ever fucking heard in my entire life, bro.
I was literally thinking earlier today, I was like, why was I taught colonial history every single year for the first 12 years of my life? And why was I never taught how the government works?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm like, George Washington is cool. Fucking Confucius is cool. But like, can you tell me about what's happening right now today that's affecting me now?
It's like there are so many of us who I still don't fully understand how taxes work, for instance.
Me neither.
And like,
that's different.
For some reason, I know how like the Pilgrims lived back in the 1600s. Something's not right here. And I was thinking, why government, like a straight up government 101 class should be like mandatory for all high schools. Like kids should understand how the Senate works, how the Congress works, how like all these different things that go into Congress work. Like the fact that really I left high school with only the most basic understanding of like how the presidency works. I didn't even it wasn't until like this year really that I understood how the Senate's chosen, how the Congress is chosen and stuff like that. And that only happened because I liked the nominee for the Massachusetts Senate, Ed Markey. Like if he hadn't been involved, I probably still wouldn't know a single thing about it.
Yeah.
So it really shouldn't have to take like a special interest story to pique somebody's interest. These are things that we should already understand and things like that.
Yeah. Especially like I'm saying, we're American citizens and we're making decisions on what's going to affect us as American citizens. And I can't make an accurate decision because I don't know how it works. Like that's kind of stupid.
Yeah. Iliana, you were going to say something.
Yeah. I have an issue as an educator. I have an issue with education and what happens in education here. I think that like people in English language arts, we have a very unique job where we get to teach people. You get to teach younger people, because I like to say that I teach kids. I teach content too, but the most important thing is that I'm teaching people. And I like to remind myself and to remind them that like what we're doing is learning about what it means to be human and what it means to make change that we want to see. Because if we're reading this book and this book gets us pissed, right? Right, like I love it. I love when kids get pissed or when kids they feel really touched by a book and they want to talk about it and they want to talk about how it makes them feel, because I love that, because it makes them think and remember the lives that they're living right now. They're the ones who get to change it. But when I think about like history, that's when I get mad.
Mhm.
Because like I like what I do, and I like talking about literature, and I like talking about what it means and what it says about people, but because I understand the importance of knowing how we got here, but I think it's more important to talk about now.
Yes.
Because we almost encourage, without knowing it, the education system in itself and the people who are part of it. We encourage without knowing or without wanting to. We encourage kids to not do the research, to not even try to learn about what's happening in the government or um,
The
in their own
world.
like cities. We encourage it by not talking about it, acting like keep politics out of the classroom.
Yeah.
Now these kids are never gonna know until they graduate and they realize I don't know anything. Maybe I should do some research.
Yeah.
And
Or they just don't care altogether.
exactly. So it's one or the other. So I kind of been babbling. It's kind of taking me a while to like put it
Nah,
together.
I think it was a coherent. I think it was a coherent thought.
Okay, thank you. But I just it pisses me off how like kids can leave school understanding people and understanding what it means to be good and what it means to be bad and the nuances within that. But kids are also gonna leave not knowing how intricate the oppressive systems in this country are. Which fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's so.
Why don't I understand? Why don't I understand like the system that I'm literally a part in and cannot leave?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it just makes no sense.
Conspiracies. The government wants us to be like that.
Yeah. I think history is important though. I think it depends on like not the fucking pilgrims.
I mean, that could be important. Like,
I guess kind of.
Like
I feel like that's kind of like a fun fact. Oh my God, the pilgrims.
Nah,
right?
but it's definitely like government has to be put in there too.
Yeah. I think it's how like because within history, right, within your past, you could figure out. You could learn from people that have done it before, or like, for example, Black Lives Matter, right? The movement that we are living now, right? From the 60s, right? You could read Martin Luther King, you could read Malcolm X, Robert Kennedy, JFK. You could just within that decade itself, you could learn and potentially get better for the movement that is today. You know what I mean? I don't know. But then there's also bullshit in history. You know what I mean? That you're never gonna fucking use in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't think of an example, but like it's like
I used to be able to name all the countries in Africa.
Yeah.
I had to do that as a 7th grade thing. I had to write every state. I had to remember every country, and there was a test where I had to write every country into a map of Africa.
It's kind of a flex.
And how that's a flex, but also how does that help you? Why instead of that, why aren't you naming people who are in the Senate?
Yeah.
Because those are the people who are making decisions for us, right? Like we should be I kind of think that this is a little bit of a conspiracy. my conspiracy.
We love those here. We love conspiracies.
But like I really do think that like the curriculum that's been in place for so long is as a way to convince students that there is a detachment from what happened 50 years ago. Like it's a way to convince students that what's happening right now today is somehow different than what has already happened. Or that it's what happening now is something that they don't need to worry about because it doesn't look like this thing in your textbook. And it's like, no, but it does. It absolutely does. I think it's interesting that we don't want to talk about, politics in the classroom, and we don't want to talk about, the really hard things like Black Lives Matter and everything that's within that, or we don't want to talk about rape culture or things like that. But it's like these are the things that people are going through now, and this is history. We're in it. So why isn't it as important as fucking George Washington's wooden teeth? Like, like it's just weird. For me, it's just a way to convince kids that their issues and their concerns right now are not as significant as what's happened to people before.
Yeah, I saw this thing once, and this might be a conspiracy theory as well, where it's like one of the reasons why they, so for context, like I saw photos that were like recolored or they were original photos of the 1960s civil rights movement, and they were full flesh color. You can actually see what was going on, like as we are seeing each other currently. But they're saying that the reason in our textbooks, the reason we see them in black and white is so that we see the civil rights movement as something that was so long ago, like way in the past, even though it was technically like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Which again, like my dad's 50. So that's really like, it's not that far off, to be quite honest. And the reason they do that is because they want us to see it. They want us to see it as something that was something that like we don't have to worry about that.
That's believable.
That is believable too.
Way long ago, kind of thing. And so it kind of makes you think, oh, racism was solved back in 1964.
It's already done.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
It creates that detachment, which is so sad to me. Like, why do you want kids to be detached from the things that matter?
Another thing is, like, I feel like the education system has like failed everybody, because I feel like it's built to like create workers. Like, I feel like you're not supposed to think freely.
You're right. That's what it started.
Yeah, so for example, for example, right? When I worked at the bank, I had certain assignments I had to do and certain deadlines I had to meet, and you know what I mean? Boom. That's how I got the thumbs up, man. Hey, great job, you know? And in school, it's like you got certain assignments you got to do on this date, you got to do them, and then boom, hey, congrats, man. You're going to the next grade. You did what we told you to do. I feel like it's either schools or like we need to have classes or something where kids can just think freely. Think and grow, you know what I mean? Like
that should be
like
a class, thinking that.
Like fucking, like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like you should, like, kids shouldn't be like, it shouldn't be like so regimented. It should be like a fucking thing where it's like, all right, how do you, like, why is this, like, why do you feel this way? Like, what do you want to learn? I don't know. Yeah. But it's like you should be able to think freely, and then kids could like create some crazy shit. You know what I mean? They're younger and they think differently, so you could like solve fucking shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, what the fuck? I don't know. That's how I think. I think it's like it's designed to make workers, bro. It's not designed to make CEOs. Not designed to make people that are gonna make decisions for themselves. It's designed for people to just
make sheep, take
instructions, and be the fuck out.
Yes.
To that, I also want to say, there were two things I wanted to say where it's like, I definitely feel that this American dream feels more like an assembly line where it's like, you're literally just doing things to reach like a product, to like reach your product. And it's not even for yourself. Like, it's like, I'm getting this grade so I can pass this class, not because I value what I'm learning, but because I need to pass this class kind of thing. And then, I forgot my second train of thought, but yeah, it definitely, now I remember. It was the fact that, at least this was my experience in high school when we kind of had that trio class or whatever it was, the beginning at the end of the day kind of thing, where it was like we were meant to talk about our feelings during one class, and then people kind of brushed it aside, which kind of made me sad, because it was just like, now we have this generation of kids who also just like dismiss their feelings and don't want to talk about them. And it's like, we either start talking about these things early, or we really put it in effort to talk about these things with our students and with our teachers. And again, like I don't want to call out the teacher who was teaching that class, but she definitely was not the type of person who took students' feelings seriously. So she really wasn't equipped to really talk about, she wasn't equipped to talk about that type of subject matter with us anyways. So then that class kind of just falls through, because it's like you have kids who don't want to talk about it, you have people who aren't equipped to talk about it, and then people who actually want to discuss these things don't feel like they're in a space to do so. And
so, I mean, now that I'm like teaching like with the kids, there's I have my advisory class, which is 9th graders.
It was advisory.
Yeah, advisory. So, and it's social emotional learning. So now they specifically call it SEL advisory. And every day we do talk about our feelings. And kids, you know, especially as 9th graders, they're new to the school. They don't know everybody in their classes just yet. And also we're in the middle of a pandemic. So everything is very sensitive right now. So it's a very different time. But I've found that it is so great that we have this, and that it's different. So it's not structured the way that it was for us, because, you know, it was new for us, and teachers didn't really care.
We were the guinea pigs.
We didn't. I mean, talking about me personally, I didn't give a fuck about that class. I go to sleep and shit.
But now they take it more seriously, and you can tell, because it reminds students that, you know, while it may seem like they're part of a machine, they're being taught by other human beings who really care about who they are and what they're doing. Because I can't expect any academic growth from you if I don't know what's happening in your head, in your heart, in your literal physical body, and in your house. And it's funny to me, and this is getting me into a conversation about like Zoom and virtual teaching, but it's interesting to me how some people want to get in the classroom so bad, and they're willing to put people's lives at risk, when it's very possible to connect with people through the computer and you don't even have to see their faces. Or you don't always have to hear their voice on the mic, because some people are in the circumstances where they can't turn it on, or they feel uncomfortable turning it on, or
nervous.
Yeah.
But you can create relationship through a computer, and it's not optimal for a lot of people. It's not optimal for me, but I've done it. We're doing this so far, and it makes a huge difference to even just ask somebody and really mean it when you ask them how they are. Before you talk about the grade they got on their last assignment, talk about them first. And you a little bit, like, humanize yourself as an educator and tell them,
make a
how
connection for sure.
Because being an educator, a lot of the time you are like acting. It's a little bit of performance. It's a lot of it of a performance. But it's also
I can see that.
Yeah, but it's also it's so important for them to understand that I'm gonna have my days, just like they're gonna have their days, and I'm gonna understand both ways. And I expect that we can respect each other and have compassion and have patience and grace for ourselves and for each other, because like I mentioned before, this is a very, very new space. And going forward, like post-COVID teaching, even when it is in person, is going to be so different, I imagine, and I hope it is. Yeah, I just I'll talk about this forever, but it's just important that kids know right now, especially now, that they come before their grade, or they come before a skill set that we want to master.
Beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, they're the most important thing.
I think I love that, because I feel like what happens is, like, I remember I watched a video, and it was like the guy was talking about how once you fail a test, it really feels like, I'm a failure. You really, like, you see the F, you equal, I'm a failure myself.
Yeah.
And then the measure of how good of a person you are is also the measure of your grades and everything, and obviously that's not true. Everybody knows, once you're, like, in hindsight, once you're older, you understand that's not true. The quality of my character is who I am as a person, not my grades, right? So I love that's a new thing that they're doing, because I know for a fact I was, like, stressed, like, especially, like, not even like as an individual, like, your parents coming at you too, like, why the fuck you failing your test, you're a failure, bro, like this and that. Like, it becomes like, damn, I'm a less of a person because my grades suck. Like, and it's not true. That's not true for anybody. That's nobody should have to feel like they're less of a person because they're fucking up. Like, everybody makes mistakes. That's literally what life is about. Falling on your ass, getting back up, and keeping going, because that's all we can do as human beings. So the fact that you, especially you, like, I could see the compassion in your eyes when you're talking about it, and it's beautiful. I was about to start crying, bro, because that's what we need, bro, as individuals. Like, and it shouldn't just start in high school. That should be something like in first grade, bro. Like, I was literally thinking, like, if they literally taught you how to be an empathetic person as a young, like, kids don't know how to be nothing, bro. All they know how to do is yell and scream and fucking run around. That's what they know how to do.
We had Miss Ellen. We were lucky.
Yeah, that's true.
What is it?
Miss Ellen.
Miss Ellen.
From the Kelly school? Yeah, Miss Ellen.
Kelly school. She did a little bit of, she had some sessions where she would come into people's homeroom.
What grade was that?
It was in Kelly, and it was like basically like from
fourth grade. I don't know what grade it was.
I remember her the most.
Jason was there. I'm like 100% sure.
But I know you know her.
Miss Ellen. Was she the one that taught PC?
No, that was Mr. Colonna. But I bring up Miss Ellen because even if you forgot her, I remember her, and she was our taste of social and emotional learning when we were kids.
Yeah, she would show us images and stuff. She would, like, either show us images or tell us stories, and we'd be like, how does that make you feel? And so that way we were able to, like, properly label, oh, this made me sad, oh, this made me happy, that kind of thing.
And we were also, she had us identify, which beautiful that they did this, honestly, truly. But she would have, like, images up, and she would have, like, different outcomes to, like, a story. And she would be like, so what's this outcome? What does this look like? And then we as kids would articulate, that looks like violence. And that's what we don't want. And so then we would talk about the steps that we would take as individuals and as classmates to not get us to that place. I thought that was beautiful that
this happened to me.
I
was a part of this.
Yeah, you might have been asleep, honestly.
Nah. I was a daydreamer. I wasn't like, I never would be like this, like sleeping for real. I would just be like, what's going on, bro? Was that in a specific grade, or was that like throughout the whole thing?
I can't remember if it was like throughout all of elementary school, but I can remember specifically being in Miss Tracy's class, and
she
came
pulled
in
up once. I remember
with her
that.
stuff. Yeah.
I also do.
What does she look like? Was she buff?
No. She was a skinny, tall woman with a long ponytail.
She had blue hair or she had straight hair?
I think it was.
Did she have glasses?
I think she may have.
She wore them sometimes.
Yeah, she wore them sometimes.
She also goes by Miss.
She was a Jewish woman. Yeah, she was a Jewish woman who went by Miss Cookanitas. You said?
I think her that she went.
Or was she Greek?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't remember this at all.
We
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like her background,
I don't remember her ethnicity.
But I have the visceral image of this woman's.
Yeah, I know
ingrained in my skull.
I know her face. I would be able to draw. If I could draw, I'd be able to draw her.
Yeah, I could draw her right now. I won't.
Damn.
But
I remember Mr. Colonna for sure, because he was like, he would always call people eggplants and shit. And now hindsight, the eggplant emoji makes sense, right? Isn't that what is you? Nah, I'm playing.
I was actually gonna say, I will say people, I feel like people knock down the Chelsea district a lot.
Yes.
They love to knock us down because whatever, we're the poor community, we're the Hispanic community, and there's a lot that's ingrained in that, like microaggression or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel so fortunate because when I think back to the experiences I had with my own teachers and with my own community, I feel like I got out so much luckier than like other communities and stuff like that. Because I don't think, I mean, there was like maybe I failed chemistry once, and that was the only bad experience I ever had with like a class. But like I had such supportive teachers. I had such a supportive community, like within the arts, visually and performing. And I think that, you know, people kind of knock down Chelsea and they think that, you know, because we aren't like a rich community like Newton or whatever, that we must not have anything to value. But when I have conversations with the people in our community and they're so willing to give themselves and like tell you their story and tell you where they've come from and the struggles they've had, and the way that's built their character in a way that, you know, just growing up in a community of riches probably could never have built that type of character. And then just in our school alone, like teachers like Miss Barlage or Mr. McCarthy.
Miss Barlage is the GOAT. I love her.
Miss Barlage didn't like me.
She took a photo. Well, she like briefly took a photo of like her Zoom meet, and I saw Miss Barlage in the corner. And I was like, "Tell her I love her right now. I don't care how unprofessional it sounds."
I always said like, and you know, when I went into education, you know, in college, when I decided I really wanted to be a teacher, and I started learning about, you know, the financial and racial inequity in schools, I was so lucky. Because I had realized that even though we were in a place like this that's, you know, low income and we don't have the most recent books and we don't have Chromebooks in every classroom, but at least we didn't when we were in
iPads
school.
And shit.
Right.
Yeah.
That I never felt personally, and Roxana might agree, I never felt like I didn't have what I needed.
Yeah.
No, I agree too.
So like material wise, but also just like the emotional and mental support from my teachers. Which also goes back to the idea that when you tell people in general, but especially young people, that they don't have enough or that they can't be enough, they're going to internalize that and they're going to act accordingly. They're not going to want to try because they're going to feel like they can't do it anyway. And that also goes into, you know, the idea that, you know, our value or our intelligence or our worth is measured by what we can produce. That reminds me of immigrants in this country.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
you had made this point in our most recent episode, but like we can't ascribe people worth or value based on the amount of labor they're willing to do for us. Like that's just ugly.
Yeah. During that episode I was saying, because again we were talking about Trump's taxes and this kind of thing, and it's kind of ironic because he loves to scapegoat immigrants as like the reason why the economy is doing bad. Like, oh, they're taking our resources, they're not contributing to the economy, this and that. And before I went to debunk that, I had wanted to kind of disclaim that even though we're going to be talking about how immigrants do contribute to the economy, I also wanted to make a point that a person's monetary value is not the only way to measure value in this country. Like we shouldn't measure people's worth based on how much money they can give us. Yeah, like we should be ascribing a value based on things like a person's virtues, a person's values, how much like what they can give to us just from being a person. Like a person's value is just based off the fact that they're a human being. Like that's where we start. And I honestly
like the fact that we even try to assign value is not like
exactly. And I was saying like if we're all kids of immigrants, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Like we have deep ties to the immigrant community. And I was saying, just like, if I find out that my neighbor, trekked across the country with nothing on their back but the clothes that they have and the kid by their side, I have such a deep amount of admiration and respect for that, because I know, just in looking at myself, I could never do that. I could never trek across the country barefoot with no money, with nothing on me, aside from like my own hope that this might bring me a better future. And so
Literally just faith, bro.
yeah, exactly. And we shouldn't be ascribing value based on money and that kind of thing. We shouldn't be asking what our citizens can do for our country. We should be asking what our country can be doing for us.
Yeah. I brought this up in an episode. I think it was the same one we brought that up.
Yeah.
Or maybe it wasn't. I don't even remember.
They all blur at this point.
But I think this is important to bring up with y'all too. None of you were in this class with me, but when I was in 8th grade, at Mr. Bennington, shout out.
Love of my life.
Everybody in my class, not everybody, but a lot of people in my class were making jokes about this one kid, and this kid he's an immigrant. And this kid had, he was taking these jokes every single day. And one day he just was like, I want to tell you what happened when I came here. And he's like, I don't know if this is going to make you want to stop saying this to me, but hopefully you can hear what I'm going to say and you'll think about your mom or your uncle or your neighbor. And so he told us about how ugly and devastating and how scary it was to come here, what that looked like for him and for his family. And then everybody sat there just like,
yeah,
they felt real fucking dumb, because it's like, how can we all have such deep ties to that struggle, or at least know what it looks like, and then try and shame people or make fun of people or try to make them feel embarrassed about their experience. And it has a lot to do with the really unfortunate but very real investment we all have to our proximity to whiteness and wealth. Like, it's just, we're taught to have an investment in that. Like, if you're a lighter skinned Latino, you're proud of that somehow. I feel like that's something that I've heard, not necessarily, I mean, I don't mean that for everybody, but I feel like growing up, I heard that a lot, where it's like, oh, you look just like your Spanish great-great-grandfather, or like, how beautiful, you have green eyes and blonde hair, and wow, like, mejor la raza, and phrases like that. And it's bullshit, because it's like, there's so much like garbage bias and prejudice and discrimination within our own community that oftentimes we overlook. And it's like, no, we have to talk about that though.
Yeah.
If we have to, like, you can shout all day that Black Lives Matter, but like, full well, if you brought a Black dude home or a dark Dominican, your grandma will have something to say.
Hell yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of went on a tangent there, but I think
No. That's completely true, because
it's old thinking is what it is.
I think it's like, it's funny because we're here, we're all talking about, trying to talk about these injustices that we're put through and people like us are put through. But sometimes you got to wipe your own ass and see that it's in our own communities too, bro. Like, yo, like, pay attention. My family's doing the same shit. Like, my family does. Yo, Black people, they're not good for nothing but doing something bad. And I get tight, bro. I'd be like, what makes you think that that's true, bro? He's like, and my dad would be like, no, even in my country, the Blacker people, they're the criminals and this and that. And I'm like, bro, I said this last week too. I really think that the association between skin color and like criminality is stupid, bro, because your skin color
makes no fucking sense
to be criminal. It's just, it just happens to be that the people of that skin color happen to be in the tougher situations where they have to do those criminal activities to even survive themselves. Like we said last week, what happens if a little kid robs something for his little sister and then he gives it to his little sister? All of a sudden his little sister sees him as a hero. He's gonna want to go steal something again, just because that made him feel good. And maybe his act is not good, like the simple act of stealing something is not good, but the act that he's providing something for somebody else, that actually is a good thing. But it's like it gets murky with the news too. It's like literally like I think
it's one or the other. It can never be in between.
It's the duality you see on a small scale and a large scale. You see it on a small scale. Oh, this African American person got shot, and it's because they were in a gang, and the thought process ends there, or it gets pushed that they're black instead. That, yo, did you happen to know his mom had just passed away, or some crazy circumstances? Because that's most likely what happens for people to go and do those kinds of things. Some crazy circumstances push them to that. In the same way, the message gets pushed a different direction. Like, oh, the African American NFL players are kneeling during the thing. Oh, they don't respect the military. Who the fuck was talking about the military? They're talking about their own fucking lives.
Yo, oh my God.
Like, you see the message. That's what I don't like about the news, bro. If the message gets pushed one way, or they get to choose what it looks like to you, and then you take it in, and if you take it, obviously the best way to do it is take it with a grain of salt and think for yourself. But if somebody's not and they're ignorant and they just see that, they're gonna be like, oh, that's the truth. That's the truth. And they take that as truth instead of trying to think of it for themselves.
Bro, just real quick, because you got me tight. The Colin Kaepernick thing, bro, he clearly, bro, in front of reporters, clearly fucking stated, I'm kneeling because of police brutality. I want to put my platform, bring awareness to this. Yo, the next day, he's disrespecting the flag. He doesn't like our military. And then the fun fact about this shit, right, is because he first sat on the bench. He sat on the bench like this, and he didn't stand up, right? And a dude who was a 49ers fan, who also was a Marine, right, a veteran, he emailed him, was like, hey, man, I and they talked about it, you know? He was like, I know you want to send a message, but, you know, as a 49ers fan and you're my quarterback, I like you, man, but you kind of hurt me when you sat down. He's like, so I would suggest, like, you know, we kneel as Marines, as you know, when one of our men have fallen, you know, so maybe you could do the kneeling. So the fucking kneeling came from a veteran, and then they had the fucking media has the audacity to flip it on Colin Kaepernick, and this man still doesn't have a fucking job. This man still have a fucking job. Yeah. To have the audacity to flip it, turn it, and change the narrative completely that, oh, you didn't respect the military, this and that. And even our fucking president was like, yeah, fucking that son of a bitch deserves everything. Whatever the fuck he was saying. I was like, what in the fuck is, I was like, he clearly fucking said, he was like, yo, it's not about the military. I respect my military, blah, blah, blah. I know people are in the military. It's just, I have a platform and it's not fucking right. You know what I mean? Like, and like, yo, he could have been chilling. He could have still had a job, but because he said the right thing, boom, blackballed,
They used him as a scapegoat, bro. Really?
Yeah,
they used him as a scapegoat.
Oh my, yo, what the fuck? Oh man. Anyways,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry. That shit just fucking pissed me the fuck off.
I think it's also about media's want to create the fastest headline. So it's easier for them to, instead of telling it for what it is, which is, Colin Kaepernick, you know, kneeled in protest of police brutality. It's easier for them to get views. It's easier them to like cause a ruckus and stuff like that by saying, oh, he was trying to disrespect the military when he kneeled. This man has no sense of respect or admiration for the military. And it's easier for them to like kind of circulate airtime. And obviously, there's a lot of racism behind that as well. Yeah. But you know, I think, you know, negative attention is still attention to some degree. So
yeah. All right. Here we go. So would you guys say you guys are a trustworthy source for information?
Yes.
And why would you say that?
We've actually talked about this before. I say that because one, we have a very like diverse like range of perspective, but also because we're not coming from a place where we're trying to be constructive in a condescending way. We're coming from a place of love for our people, and wanting to encourage people to recognize their own power and their own influence. We're not so much trying to be like, you suck and here's why. It's you have so much power and here's how you can use it kind of thing. And also because we're not, you know, we're giving opinions because we're human and we're gonna do that. Like our opinions are gonna come out, but also we're using like actual like facts. Yeah. Like we're not coming to you with like, you know, something we heard and didn't fact check. And we also we spend quite a bit of time like trying to find like the most like credible sources.
Yes.
Because I don't want to just give you like a college newspaper,
like a BuzzFeed article or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to we want to deliver facts in such a way that it'll frame it in such a way that you know that we're not just trying to say things.
Right.
That is coming from a place of we really, really want people to care and recognize their power. I think if we kind of just went on and we're just angry all the time, or we went on and we just made jokes, then that wouldn't be very trustworthy at all.
Damn, they can't trust us, Vic.
I know they can't trust us. I'm always trying to think of the next joke.
It's because it's important that we make jokes and that we laugh, and we do that especially off camera. But when it's in front of the camera, we don't want people to feel like we're making fun of them necessarily. Because I realize that can be how it comes off. And like in my personal life, like on my IG stories, I can say something that's snippy and funny, but I'm not gonna say that in front of the camera. You know what I mean? And I'm
not representing the show.
Right, right. And also I had to think about the way that I say things because I'm a teacher. Because I'm human and I'm gonna say things sometimes that don't sound right or that don't necessarily reflect what I'm thinking. But like in that moment, I just said something that I thought made sense. But so it's a good freaking thing that Roxana edits our shows and she makes everything look smooth. And even if it takes us like 7 minutes to form one thought,
it usually does.
Yeah,
it takes us 10 minutes to absorb a single thought.
Yeah, she'll make it, quick and easy to digest for people. So
yeah, I kind of branching up the first thing you said about different perspectives. We have, just in our usual panelist team, we have 2 immigrants who are under the protection of TPS, temporary protected status.
I can't believe we haven't talked about TPS yet.
I know, which we'll get to that in a second, but we have 2 immigrants who are protected under TPS, one of whom is our mutual best friend.
Edwin?
Yes. Edwin, yes. And then Iliana and I were both born here, but as an El Salvadorian, my experience might be different from Iliana's, who is from PR. And so we have and then we have Jared Wright, who is
our Puerto Rican ally.
Yeah.
He's
Puerto Rican.
He's like he's Irish or something, and Puerto Rican, right? His ancestors.
He's our white man of color.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
man of Caucasian.
He's our man of Caucasian.
Yeah.
But what I like about that is the fact that when we do talk about topics like immigration, who better to discuss those matters than somebody who has dealt with, who better than an immigrant who has dealt directly with the system. And in terms of like experiences in America, Iliana and I have been here since day one, basically. Who can better talk about those experiences than her and I? And then if we want like a white man's perspective, then we go to Jared Wright for that. And so it's nice to have like those different perspectives to talk about different matters and kind of look at a single problem from different lenses so that we can understand it even better.
And my hope, like for myself personally, is that like I know my family being from PR and we're citizens without a problem. Like that's not even something we have to worry about. Like somebody from our immediate family or somebody who we love having to be deported. And so I want people who are in that same mindset as my family, because it's not their fault. That's not something they have to worry about, so they're not thinking about it. But I want them to see that I'm so passionate and so driven about this and be like, I should be too. Because like people should
setting an example.
Yeah, like I just, my hope is that like people who don't go through the fear that comes with being the child of somebody who's not documented or being undocumented yourself, that they understand why it's important. And also, really quickly, I wanted to talk about TPS.
Yes.
And I should have mentioned this before, but Biden has made the promise that he would reinstate TPS because, 9th Circuit ruling made it so that Trump can and will revoke the legal protection of people who are on TPS. Biden has promised that he will reinstate that and take, what is it, the 90 days or 100 days to
he'll stop deportations for 90 days as soon as he's like in office, like day one.
Yeah, and in that time he is reevaluating the immigration system. So like
Yeah.
Like, hello.
And for those who don't know, TPS, temporary protected status, it protects about 400,000 people currently within the country. That includes Salvadorans, Hondurans, Haitians, just to name a few of the countries.
And Salvadorans, of course.
And Salvadorans, of course. And what that does is for people who are trying to escape their countries based on, climate change or war or crime, or that kind of, not crime, but like if a war, things like that. If they're trying to leave the country for those purposes, they can apply for a temporary protected status. For example, one of my aunts is currently protected under TPS, and that was because of the 2001 earthquake that struck El Salvador. She was left without a home because of the subsequent mudslides that ended up basically leveling the community afterwards. So she's been in the country since 2001, 2002, and since 2018, I believe since 2018, Trump has been saying that he wants to revoke those protections, which are legal protections, by the way. Like, these protections have been instated since in the 90s, really.
Yeah, the 90s.
Since the 90s, under a Republican president, mind you.
Yes.
Have been instated since then to protect people and to keep them legally here in the event of a natural disaster or if they have, a war going on in their home. And since 2018, Trump's been trying to strike that down. And as of 2020, I don't remember if it was last month or the month before that, but Trump, but under the Ninth Circuit ruling, they have decided that Trump is within his, it's within his power to take that out. So what that ends up occurring is that suddenly 400,000 people who have been in the country for like maybe 20 or so
their
more
lives
years.
are here, their kids are here.
Exactly. And now they have to go back to a country that could still not be stable in some instances, or they have to go to a country they really don't know, that they have no idea of. And within our circle, one of Edwin, for instance, he's been in this country since 2001, so he's spent longer. He's spent more of his life here than in El Salvador. So you can imagine that kind of struggle for a person who's been in the country longer than they've been in their birth country, and how much to return to somewhere that they really just aren't aware of after they've built their entire life here. And that's 400,000 people that could happen to. And I know that in the case of Salvadorans, there is a bit of an extension, whereas if Trump is elected and he revokes this, I know that Salvadorans have until November of next year to return to their countries. But for other countries, it would be as soon as I think March of next year.
And not even just those immigrants, but think about their children.
Yeah.
Because like I had mentioned before, if you are pro-life, what about them then?
Yeah.
Like, if you care so much about the welfare and well-being of kids, what about all of them? One, there are children in cages, so how much do you care about them? But also, just in general, if we want to say that we care about people and we have compassion and we want better for the kids here, and we want equal opportunity for people. I'm not racist. I want everybody to have the same amount of resources and opportunity. But then seriously, those kids,
right?
They either have to then go with their parents to a place they don't know at all,
right?
Or they're here by themselves. And where do they go? Who helps them then?
Yeah.
Not the government.
Exactly.
Yeah, that shit. Oh man.
So.
Damn, that's deep. That's some deep
It's
stuff, because that's
it's very heavy, but
that's deep and fucking pissed me off too.
Yeah.
That's what I say to people who come to me with criticizing what we're doing, because it's typically people from the greater Boston area or Chelsea specifically.
Yeah.
And so when they come to me with that, then I come to them with that information specifically, and I say, okay, so how about all the people who are immigrants?
Yeah.
And what if this happens to them? And then they're like, oh, damn. So. Yeah.
But Biden did this.
Yes,
Biden did that.
Yes, exactly. But you were gonna say something. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I know people. I know families who it's parents have TPS, a sibling has TPS, and then it's the one child who doesn't. So then you have to think about what that does emotionally to the kid, because their life is being ripped, their family's being ripped apart from them, and then B, physically, they have to think for themselves, okay, who am I going to stay with? How does this affect my schooling? like, do I ever get to see my family again? Because, you know, it's just so many. And of course, the Trump administration really sees it as just, oh, we're just weeding out the problems, this and that. And it's like, but a majority of TPS workers, you know, majority of TPS people, like they work, they have, you know, they pay taxes, sometimes for benefits that they can't use and things like that.
Exactly.
And immigrants statistically commit less crime than natural born citizens within the US. Like that's a fact. I don't have the exact source, but it's a fact.
Go watch our episode.
Go watch our episode.
That was the immigration episode, right? Number 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's been proven that immigrants, because they're so scared to like potentially have to leave the country or to get kicked out, that we commit less crimes than the people who are born here.
Yeah, hello. Yeah.
Like it's just a matter of fact. Like I just don't understand it. And of course it's scapegoating, of course it's racism, but when it's like, you know, I expect this from the Trump administration. I don't expect this type of thinking from people that I know. And
it's really sad and surprising.
I think it's ignorance, bro. Like some people just are not aware of that kind of stuff. So this is why I asked you guys this question, right? Because I feel like, obviously, I've said it already a couple times, but the news is definitely like not trustworthy. Like it's biased and it's hard to really like. So what happens is, all right, so if you're a person that just grew up in an area and you know this type of thing your whole life, right? And all of a sudden now you got to make a decision about who you think is the best presidential, you know, like candidate for you to be choosing, right? And you go like, say I'm a white person, right? And I just grew up in a city where there was only white people. What happens is when I go to find my news, bro, I'm gonna find that depending on where I get my news, I'm most likely gonna get an opinion that's from somebody else that this person's better or then this person's worse. And then this is where I struggle with it, because I'm like, how do I make a decision on myself, like by myself? I want to be able to say I chose this person because I wanted to choose this person, you know? And it's like it's difficult because it's really like, it's like not fair, bro. It's not fair that because of I grew up somewhere and I'm ignorant to some things, I'm gonna get swindled into believing something because of just the way that you know, just the way that the news is. And this is the other thing, the reason I even brought it up in the first place was because of the money shit, you know? Because I, like we were saying, the news kind of runs on money. Obviously, we live in a capitalistic world. Everybody's trying to make money. That's the end all be all. If anybody walks out their door, most likely it's because they're trying to make money, or like that's just how it is. And the news is trying to profit off of the people. So what they do in the same thing is they're gonna be marketing towards the people that they want to, you know, get at, you know. So it's like, if I'm Fox News, I know my audience is white people. I know my audience is most likely people that are a little bit racist. I don't know. I can't be generalizing, but I'm gonna but say, you know, in that situation. So because of that, they're gonna tailor their news to those people. And instead of tailoring the people to the news, it's tailoring the news to the people. And that's where I find the issue with that. I'm like, bro, this shit is trash, bro. Because then again, on the opposite side, maybe you might believe this might be better for you, but you still get some news that's biased and you don't know what the truth is, bro. Like you get so, I'm telling you, the ignorance is a problem. I think is, you know, just the ignorance in the fact, because we were talking about education and we come out of the education system not knowing shit. So we're already ignorant. So we go to look for our resources to help us understand. You click on the first link in Google. All of a sudden you have this opinion that you're thinking strongly of, but that's like the one thing that you looked at, and all of a sudden you believe something, but you don't know the whole truth. And that's the problem. Everybody's half-assing, bro. Everybody's like, yeah, I believe this is true. This is not true. This is why, bro. So this is why I'm like, finding a trustworthy news source. I already said it once, and you know, Roxana gave her perspective on that. It's tough, bro, because there's no way you get unbiased information, because not even like biased as to what they're giving you, is what they're not giving you is what the bias is too. It's like, what are you not seeing that's true? Like I watched this episode of Shameless yesterday, right? And because my girl was watching it, right? And I was like, and the dude Carl sees a black woman get shot at a bus stop, right? And he goes to some news reporters and he's like, oh, this person just got shot at a bus stop. And the news reporter gets excited, like, oh, is this newsworthy? And she's like, oh, obviously this is exaggerated because it's a TV show, but she's like, oh, was it a man or a woman? She said a woman. She was like, okay, black or white? And then he was like, black. And she was like, is she old? Was she old or young? And then he was like, oh, she was old. He was like, all right, that's not newsworthy. And then all of a sudden, she goes back to the news report she was doing, and you see they're in front of the Chicago stadium because they live in Chicago, right? They're in front of the Chicago stadium. 5-6 newscasters all talking about the Chicago Bears they have the new meatless burger, the meatless burger. And I'm like, all right, so obviously it's an exaggeration, but you see the difference there, that like, yo, this is what they're like, that news isn't important because it's normal. Fuck it. I don't need to be talking about that. Exactly. I want to talk about something that's new, like it's going to make us money, get the audience to, care about something. So then, Carl goes, and I think it was cool, but like, obviously it's an extreme. And he goes and takes the one of the like a rich white girl to that the same bus stop where that woman got shot, and he pretends to mug her. Like she didn't know she was gonna be in that situation. He gets one of his friends to bring a rich white girl there, starts shooting the gun. Give me your money, give me your purse. And then all of a sudden they're putting up streetlights there because of who it was. And this is what the problem is too, bro. The news is not giving you all the news. They don't have enough time. They only got an hour in the day to give you the news. They're not giving you all the news. And the bias comes also not from what they're saying and what they are giving you. It's about what they're not giving you. So, it's bro, it's tough, bro. It's really hard. And this shit pisses me the fuck off, bro. Because I want to be informed. Like, I really want, that's why I watch Informed, right? I want to be informed on the truth, bro. Not the fucking, some
bullshit, right?
Some bullshit. Like, no, I want to be informed on what's really going on. It's and it's hard. And now even Twitter is now a news source, which is stupid. Obviously,
it's dumb.
But then obviously
all tweets come with opinions, bro.
And all tweets come with opinions. There's no way everybody's giving their opinion, trying to make somebody laugh, so it pops off. So so a lot what they want to do is tailor to an audience that audience is that's gonna like, retweet, and everything to get it out. It's tough, bro. It's definitely tough. This is what, like, I think what was cool about having you guys on is I could talk about this shit and like get people's perspective that are trying to inform people to see what it's like, bro, because it's not easy, bro. Like, even you guys choosing the news, obviously you guys are trying to tailor your information to immigrants and helping those that are immigrants who are on the fence about voting for Joe Biden or Trump. Like, yo, you shouldn't be on the fucking fence. That's just the stupid. Like, if you care about yourself and your family members, if you're an immigrant, obviously, or an ally or your friends, if you're an immigrant ally, right? You should not be voting for Donald Trump. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just putting your family, your friends in danger by voting for him. And I agree. That message is beautiful. I wouldn't say it's beautiful because it shouldn't need to be sent, but obviously it's not beautiful, but it's a message that needs to be sent to, push the people that need to know to the right side. But it's just I just get riled up about this shit all the time.
Well, I'm glad to see such an uprising of people who care about it. Yeah. Because I feel like everywhere I turn now, like on social media too, it's like, are you registered to vote? Are you registered to vote? Like, are you registered to vote? Yeah. Like,
yes, I am. I promise you, I am. Chill.
Like, but I feel like it's almost like the country together is collectively deciding. It's like, no, we've had enough.
Yes.
Like, we have seen, I'm not saying I forgive it, but in 2016, I guess people just weren't aware of how bad it could get. Mm-hmm. And now
4 years of this fucking moron.
Exactly. Yeah. But now it's 2020, and we have seen what 4 years has done. Could you possibly imagine what could happen by 2024? To put it in,
I'm going to Canada with Roxana. We out.
Yeah, we're all gonna get our masters in Canada.
Yeah. yeah, for sure. Fuck that. Another 4 years with this fucking bozo. Man.
And and again, people like to say, "Oh, we're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it," because we got through the Reagan years. We got through this and that, and it's like, okay. So put it in perspective for like Ronald Reagan, for instance, who I am so fond of, as some people can imagine. But again, so there was an epidemic during the Reagan years, which was the AIDS epidemic. And I'm certain people were saying, "Oh, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this together." But then think about the tens of thousands of gay men specifically who didn't get through the Reagan administration.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the people who were persecuted under Reagan's strict drug laws, which predominantly targeted people of color. They didn't get through the administration peacefully. And then, you know, there's countless other marginalized groups that I can't think of right now, but, you know, to say, oh, we can get through 4 more years, it'll be fine. That's such a,
it's so tone deaf.
It's such a tone deaf. It's such a tunnel vision train of thought, because
it's a brush off is what it is.
Yes, it's a complete dismissal of people who are going through things you're not going through.
And it's just it's like, I can't, no, it's like, no, TPS immigrants won't get through the next 4 years of Trump's reelected. LGBTQ people most likely won't, because there's now talk about rescinding same-sex marriage, which was decided in the Supreme Court, if Amy Coney Barrett is inducted into the Supreme Court. And it's like we can't take 4 more years, because we don't know what we will have left by the end of 2024.
We're literally regressing, and it's dramatic for some people to hear that, but it's true.
We're literally going back to 1942.
Exactly.
Like it's not a thing anymore. And it's not even anymore, I want you to care. It's like, I need you to care.
Yeah.
It's like, I need you to register to vote. I need you to get your friends to register to vote. I need you to do everything that you can possibly do as an individual to get people to vote. Because it's no longer Republicans versus Democrats. It's us versus Donald Trump.
Yeah. And that's exactly what he wants, though. Like, it's exactly what that, you know, it's power. It's a game of power, but like, they want us to argue with each other and to divide ourselves from each other, and to detach from each other and pretend like we don't care about what the other group is going through. But it's like, you realize that they don't care about any of us.
Yeah.
So we have to care about each other, and we have to make it so that at one day, hopefully, we're in a place where we don't feel so frustrated with the systems that govern us.
Yes.
So
beautiful, bro.
Beautiful. Yeah, it was
beautiful, bro.
Hey,
bro, we gotta, you know. All right, you were saying something? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was like, I think that's all we got to say about voting for 2020.
I'll say, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard what these women have been telling you, haven't heard this whole fucking conversation, what the fuck are you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen,
your ass.
You gotta fucking vote, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you. Listen. I was one of those people. Why the fuck do I gotta vote? This doesn't affect me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, it's important. It's fucking important. It's probably the most important thing you do. It's literally how we can create change. Every vote is, no matter how small, is gonna get the train rolling, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? We don't want to think back like, fuck, I should have voted. I should have took, 10 minutes of my fucking life, walked to the place or whatever, voted. When 4 years from now, when this fucking guy, Donald Trump, is fucking everything up. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. We got to do what we got to do for not only us, but for our future kids, our future kids' kids, each other. Let's fucking do it.
Wait, real quick. I think another thing is not just about immigration too. It's about like global warming, bro. Like we're in danger, bro. Like literally, we're about to be in the red.
Yes.
If we don't start caring about that shit, and Donald Trump doesn't believe that it's a real thing.
Exactly.
That idiot doesn't believe that.
How are you politicizing climate change?
I don't.
I know. It makes no fucking sense.
It's like, bro, California's on fire. You can't politicize that.
Yeah,
you cannot do that.
You politicized a deadly virus that's killing millions of people globally. And
it's supposed to be cold in October, people. I was in shorts and a t-shirt playing football last week. What the fuck? Yeah. I shouldn't be doing that. I should be wearing a sweater, drinking hot cocoa.
Yo,
I was balling.
I don't know if global warming directly affects that 100%. But I agree, there are some natural disasters that shouldn't be going on because of global warming, like the hurricanes and I think earthquakes can be affected too. The sea level rising is definitely one, because the ice caps are melting and it's adding more water to where there shouldn't be water. Gonna drown Florida, which I guess that's not the worst thing. Hi, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Florida, I love you, bro. I love you.
People aren't. Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about it enough in this episode, but just briefly, like, even Boston, because we live right next to the harbor. Like I can only imagine just with like sea levels alone how much that's going to rise within the next 10 years, because they're saying we only have like 10 or 7 years to fix this before it becomes an unfixable problem.
Unfixable, yes. 7 years. Imagine Donald
Yeah.
Trump taking half of that.
Nothing.
7 fucking years.
Half of that.
Yeah. The next term is
It's
over half of that.
It's 4 years. That's why I'm stressing,
wow.
brother.
The way
The way
I'm clenching currently. Oh no.
See, there's just some deciders that if you care about your own life and the life of the people in the future, you have, you kind of have to go out and make the right decision to not have a reality star, right? A businessman, a person that's
fucking bozo, bro.
A person that's never.
A fucking moron.
Yeah, but not. Beside that, because I feel like if you go at it as he's a moron, of course he is. Like we see just based off of his actions, he not the brightest bulb in the box, but.
You're sugarcoating it, man.
Nah, because this isn't. I'm telling you, it's tough because if you start hate, like we said earlier, if you come at somebody with hate, they're gonna be like, all right, disregard you all of a sudden.
No hate. We'll take it for face value, bro. We'll take it for face value. All right. He's a fucking idiot, bro. He's a fucking idiot, bro.
Yeah. He's not a politician and somebody that thinks about anybody but himself, because that's just what he's had his whole life is himself and his money, bro. So why is he gonna care about anything other than that?
I never understood that frame of thought that Trump supporters had in 2016, where it's like, oh, we need somebody who's outside of the political realm to run the president. Right? I never got that, because they were like, oh, he's gonna run the country like a business. It's like, and I'm just like, so you would rather have somebody with no political experience, has never held any office, anything like that, to run the country, versus every other candidate who's at least been mayor at once. Like
this is the same thinking. You want a bank teller to fix your house, bro.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly.
You want a cashier to fix your toilet? Hello?
Yeah, like
as a cashier.
What the fuck is bro? I don't know, man.
Yo, and then what was that? Damn, I lost my train of thought already. Damn, it didn't even start. It didn't even leave the station, bro. What the hell?
Attention deficit. It's contagious.
Yo, it's definitely like, I don't know. 2016 was weird because I kind of agreed at the moment. I was like, I definitely feel like politicians, sometimes they care too much about politics that it's kind of hard for them to care about the people, right? They want to be like, they want the power. So it made sense to me that maybe somebody that isn't a politician would be better. But then I realized, like, nah, bro, he doesn't know how to think, bro. Like, like it's politics. Bro, so here was my train of thought, bro.
Yeah.
Do you think there should be requirements, like educationally, for a presidential or like even like mayor, anybody running for mayor or anything like that? Should there be like requirements? Should they have like a degree in political science or something like that so that they can, run for office? Because I mean, they should, right?
I don't know that I am in the position to make such a statement, but I certainly think that there should be a pathway that is far more rigorous and whittles down like the people, like sorry, that was not coherent. But I think that there should be a pathway that is more rigorous and intentional and who ends up in positions of power.
Yes. That
really whittles down the people who don't deserve to be there.
Okay.
I also feel like to run for president, you have to have some semblance of public service.
Yes.
And I mean public service in the sense that like maybe like you were a mayor or you were a city councilor or something of that nature. Mm-hmm. You don't have
not a fucking TV show host.
Yeah.
Or an educator.
You're fired.
Yeah, or an educator. For instance, Elizabeth Warren was a teacher for several years before she ran for office.
Can you imagine having been taught by Elizabeth Warren?
Could you? Oh my God, such a queen. But like she obviously cares so deeply about the issues such as like the economy and education, especially because she was a teacher. And so she understands what it's like for teachers, around the country and what they go through. Mm-hmm. And that's her. And that was what she did as, a public servant because she was a teacher once. Mm-hmm. But in terms of like education, I'm not sure, just because, for instance, Justin Trudeau, I believe he was the Prime Minister of Canada, mm-hmm. was an English major. and now he's prime minister.
Yeah.
So
he's hilarious.
So he's doing a pretty confident job at running Canada, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know about
Is that the
that.
dude that did the blackface?
That's what I mean. He's not.
He did blackface?
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he did, bro. Like twice
he did blackface?
too. Yeah.
Oh,
But see,
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Justin Trudeau, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if I can.
Canadians to wear masks to prevent them from speaking moistly on other people.
And then he was like, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, and then he had immediate regret.
But
yeah, he definitely did.
Oh, there you go. Problematic. Another one we got to cancel.
Yeah.
Damn.
Jeez.
Let me see. I'm gonna share my screen, bro.
We can fix that in post.
I love that sentence. We'll fix it in post.
Right there. That's him right there, bro.
Wait, where's oh, that's bad.
Dog.
What?
Oh, jail.
That's a crime.
Yeah,
this
jail.
is a hate crime.
Yeah, sorry guys.
No, I didn't know that. I really didn't know that. So thank you for bringing it to my attention.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
But so what I was saying earlier.
Through tears.
For instance, I think you should have some semblance of a background in public service, whether that be city councilor, city mayor, or if you were a teacher. Again, looking at the example of Elizabeth Warren, who was once a teacher.
Not Justin Trudeau, not a good example.
Not Justin Trudeau, not him. No. But looking at Elizabeth Warren and how she's become one of the more famous and outspoken senators currently in Congress. And she is very progressive, and she's done so much. She did quite a bit for the economy, I believe, during the Obama administration. I'm not entirely sure, but and then there's rumors saying that she could be in the Biden cabinet if Biden wins. If Biden wins the presidency and gets inaugurated in January, that Elizabeth Warren is a shoo-in for the Biden cabinet. So, which I'm very excited about because I think she's such a great.
What do you guys think about somebody with the science background?
I think that would be.
I think that could qualify you.
I think that would be quite.
If the world would be like the fucking global warming would be the biggest thing, right?
Yeah, in terms of medicine and climate change, I think that would be good.
And not to mention, like, for things like attorney general for the United States, like, you have to have a law background. So not
But what about the fucking president?
Exactly. Like, there are these qualifications for like attorney general where it's like, you have to have graduated from law school. You can't just have like a businessman running for like attorney general kind of thing. So if we have these things for like, the biggest, the biggest law position that you can have under the United States without being in the Supreme Court, why don't we have that for the guy who's actually running?
Doesn't the president choose the Supreme Court too? So like an extension?
He can nominate people that he thinks qualify, but then it goes to Congress it goes to the Senate to be voted on.
Okay.
Did he nominate that lady you guys don't want in?
He actually nominated her allegedly the night that Ruth passed away. Like, he called her up and was like, "Hey, see, just opened up.
Yo, you got that?"
Yeah,
man, that man's a fucking dickhead.
Which is very hypocritical, considering that when Judge Scalia passed away, the year that I'm not sure if it was the year that Obama was going to be reelected or if it was the year that he was going to leave office, but he passed away that year. And when Obama wanted to push somebody to be in the Supreme Court, the GOP, who was running the Senate at the time, were saying, absolutely not. We refuse to hear this justice. It's an election year. This is not going to happen. And that's ironic considering it's an election year now. And specifically,
that's what Biden was trying to say.
Exactly.
And they were interrupting him like 40 fucking times.
Exactly. And
another reason he's a dickhead. It's
ironic considering that Senator Graham, for instance, of South Carolina, who I hate with a passion, I'm just going to say it. He's said back when they were rejecting Obama's appointment to the Supreme Court, they were saying, you can quote me right here. You can use my words against me. There's an actual clip of him saying this, that they can quote him saying that he will not, that if the Republican president were to nominate an appointee during an election year, that they would say no. And now Senator Graham is actually on the commission to try to run this appointment of Amy Coney Barrett. And they're saying, didn't you say 8 years ago that you would never do this? And he's like, I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all.
Jail.
These are
See, how do these people get into positions of power?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Corrupt? That's my question. How do they become
How the
so
fuck
corrupt?
do they join a fucking club to be dickheads? Is that what they do? and then it's just like they just conspire to be fucking lamos. Oh my gosh.
I don't know what makes somebody so wicked and vile.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It really like and like what's crazy is somebody got to vote them in there, bro. Other people like us have to vote them in there.
Yeah.
So like, so this is another thing I had a question about. So do you think that we should care more about the federal government or like local government? Because like the federal government is also obviously like the president and shit. The president does have like a lot of power, but I feel like local government is pretty important too, because that's how we get the changes in our everyday lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? What's your perspective on that?
It's so important for people to vote locally.
Yes.
I know that people, they think that it doesn't matter because they're like, oh, things are okay the way that they've been, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter, but it's like, girl, if you actually think about what a change would mean, I think that you would want to go out and vote. And also, being inactive is not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it does matter and you want to go vote in the presidential election, if you're no longer, active and you have trouble with voting that day because you haven't voted the previous times, that's not your fault and shouldn't be an issue to begin with. But if it is,
right,
that should be motivation for you to vote locally.
I think it's also important to note that, I mean, we're fortunate in the sense that we live in Massachusetts, because I feel like no matter what, I feel like our senators and our body of government, for the most part, really does care about its citizens. Governor Baker, for instance, he's a Republican, and yet he did such a good job at protecting Massachusetts during the peak of the pandemic. And yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, he actually went on to say that he's not going to vote for Donald Trump this November.
Beautiful.
So he's he denounced what the current state of the Republican Party, saying that how can we uphold the virtues that the Republican Party is supposed to stand for and yet vote these people in, which is amazing. But
sorry, no, I'm listening to you.
But it's also important to note that, again, we live in Massachusetts, which has kind of always been like a blue state, which we kind of take for granted in the sense that we kind of, I guess, don't always have to worry about the state of things.
Yeah.
That's the same for, did they freeze again? Oh. That's not always the same for countries like Kentucky or states like Kentucky or Texas, where Texas recently, the governor of Texas recently actually has allotted only one drop-in mail-in ballot box for each county in Texas.
Isn't it like only 2 in the whole state?
Something like that. It was like, so now imagine how big the counties for Texas must be. Now imagine there's only one ballot box for every single county in the state of Texas.
See?
Which is like,
you gotta dip, bro.
What kind of shit is that, bro?
I can't even imagine what it must be like to be a person who's trying to be anti-Trump in Texas, because now you have to do, because Texas is so big, and trying to imagine like
fucking huge.
Exactly. And in that case, I would say local elections must be so important in Texas, because it's like this governors serve about 4-year terms. I don't know what year Governor Abbott of Texas is at currently, but I could imagine if you, as a Democratic Texan, for instance, remembering what he did during the 2020 elections, that's something that you have to take with you to the polls when you go to vote. And you have to keep in mind what this person did for you and what they did to serve you during their time in office. And that's when, obviously, local elections are always important, but in that case especially, you have to remember what they did to you while they were in term. And again, federal elections are obviously super important. Like if you have the opportunity to vote for the leader of your country, do it, because it's not something that is offered in every single country.
Yeah. Imagine being hated by Mitt Romney. like even Mitt Romney thinks you're fucking dumb, bro. Like, you're dumb.
Yeah, Mitt Romney put out a whole statement just announcing the Republican Party, and I was like, shit, this is really bad. If Mitt Romney's saying something,
it's incredible to me how like we were so afraid of Mitt Romney, and now look where we are.
We're like, Mitt Romney's right.
Yeah, for real. Well, he's invited to the cookout.
So this is some heavy content for anybody, bro. Like, this is not an easy, like these were not easy conversations that we had today, bro. This is definitely some tough shit.
eye openers is what it is.
I'm so grateful though that we had them.
Yeah, no, I think we did a great job, just portraying ourselves as individuals too, because that's what we are. We're all individuals. We're not trying to, obviously we're trying to teach people, open people's eyes, but it's not, we're still people. We're trying to show you guys as people, as individuals as well. Anybody listening, like, yo, we all got a chance to be individuals and make a choice as a group for what we want for ourselves and our country and our individual. Like we said again, bro, if you're voting for Donald Trump, you're basically saying people like people in my family, people in Vic's family, Roxana, Iliana's family, our friends, people like our friends are not important. That's basically what you're saying. That not directly, obviously, but it could come off across as that point, because that's literally what Donald Trump kind of stands for, that kind of, hatred.
Exactly. He's a walking, talking, breathing picture of hatred, and he invites and incites violence and hatred from his own supporters. And so choosing to not vote for him is saying that we all are not worthy of at least that.
Yeah. And especially in these tough times with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Connection again.
Yeah, I can see you guys froze again, but I'm gonna keep talking.
I don't like. I'm gonna take a picture of what they look like right now.
Oh,
they probably can hear us if we.
Yeah, they can
hear
us.
Oh yeah, I forgot they can't hear us.
Oh, they can't hear us.
Yeah, they can't hear us.
Oh, now I can see it.
Yeah, no.
They can't hear us.
We got white. We literally smiled for the picture, forgetting we were frozen.
Yeah, no. I legit went like this.
If you want to see, hold on.
Wait, let's take a new picture that you can pose for.
That's right.
I don't know. What are you doing?
Vic, just smile. I love it.
What was I saying? All right. I forgot what I was saying, but it's whatever. I think we did a great job of just, starting conversations, because these conversations don't end with us. We're starting it for everybody outside of this. Whoever's listening to this is a conversation you have with yourself, have with your friends, have with your family, have with your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, uncle, whatever you can. Like, have somebody on the internet, random, you don't even know, have these conversations, because that's how we're going to move into the future. Conversation and getting on the same page. Yo, it's been an honor to have you guys on. I had a great time. I hope you guys had a great time. Vic, you got anything to say?
Ladies and gentlemen, go fucking vote. I'm telling you right now, go fucking vote or we're fucking screwed. 7 fucking years to fucking fix the bullshit that we've done to this beautiful earth. 7 fucking years, and you don't want half of that being taken away by the Cheeto puff.
More than half. 4 over 7 is how many percentage?
Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I know. Ladies and gentlemen, man, vote. You guys gotta vote. It's been an awesome episode, ladies and gentlemen. You guys gotta follow Informed on YouTube. You guys gotta follow them on the Instagrams. You guys gotta follow these girls personally on their IG, Twitter, whatever the fuck, because they're fucking awesome. They're beasts. They're fucking amazing, and they're just genuinely great people, ladies and gentlemen.
Victor, let us briefly plug in the Informed Instagram so that you guys can also follow our social clips. Sometimes we post the 30-minute clips on YouTube, but if you don't have time to watch those, then you can definitely watch the 2-minute clips that we provide on Instagram as well as Facebook. Our Facebook page is Informed.
So on Twitter we are at IAA Informed. On Instagram, I want to say that we have the exact same @, but I will make certain of that. Yes, we are IAA Informed, and that stands for Immigrants and Allies.
Immigrants and Allies.
Immigrants and Allies.
Here's what they say, guys. Here's what they say. They are a group of immigrants and allies looking to help the community to be informed about U.S. politics, bro. Because you got to be informed so you can make the right decision for yourself, for your community, and your friends. So stay healthy, stay safe. All right, you got that. Wait, we'll do that at the end. It's time for the messy moment.
I was gonna say, here we are, messy moment.
Messy moment. Messy moment. Messy moment.
Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, that was an amazing conversation. We went, my mind just fucking spinning and racing. That shit was crazy, ladies and gentlemen. But we're in the messy moment, ladies and gentlemen. The messy moment is the time where we can reflect and we dive into this podcast, this amazing fucking conversation that we had with Roxana and Iliana. It was so fucking awesome. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, yo, Jason's being a dickhead, and behind the camera, he's making me laugh. So fuck him. Ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you, I learned so much. And I was frustrated in some of it, and I fucking cried. It was such an amazing fucking episode. Ladies and gentlemen, you gotta follow the whole crew. You gotta follow everybody on the fucking Twitter, Instagram, whatever the fuck you have, fucking Facebook, MySpace, AIM, whatever the fuck you have, you gotta follow them on the show. You feel me? Ladies and gentlemen, oh man, I genuinely had so much fun doing this episode. It was awesome. I got to have great conversation. I learned so much from great friends, ladies and gentlemen. I've known the three of them for years and years and years. You know what I mean? And it was awesome and it's great. Ladies and gentlemen, stay informed. Watch the show Informed, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, it was fucking awesome. My messy moment, personally, was when we talked about TPS. Ladies and gentlemen, that was an amazing conversation. Like, I didn't, I'll probably never in my life, probably have to even, think about that. You know what I mean? Because I'm just to know that, loved ones, people that I know go through this daily struggle, and that our leader of our country is trying to take this away and just, fucking ruin people's lives and stuff. It really hurts to know that could be a possibility, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? It's a crazy thing to think about. When Roxana was explaining it and Iliana said that story, I was just like, man, why the fuck would you want to do that to someone? Why would you want to take away something that is instilled in them? You know what I mean? What the fuck? And it really hit me. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, it is important. It is probably the most important election you'll ever go through in your life. I'm telling you, it's do or die, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta fucking vote, and you gotta vote oppose Trump. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you love this community the way I love this community, if you love your loved ones the way I love my loved ones, if you love your friends the way I love my friends, you gotta fucking vote. Because I'm telling you, it's wild. It's wild. That's my messy moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Vic. That was beautiful, bro. I love it. My messy moment, I got two. One, I must first start off by talking about when Iliana was talking about the social emotional learning in school. That shit hit me, bro, because I know that, I was never a bad student. I never did bad, but I have friends, and I know in the situations where I did get bad grades, for some reason, my mom would just come at me like, yo, you gotta be, better than this. Your grades are important. And it really made me feel the measure of how good of a person I am depends on how good my grades are, how good, I do well in school, which is dumb because the measure of how good a person is just the measure of how good a person is. If you're a good person and you have a good heart, you're good, then that's it. That's all you need to be. So I think the social emotional learning, being able to talk about your feelings with your teacher, an adult that you can be safe with, because that you're relying on them to teach you about the world. So the fact that you can come to them and give your emotions is beautiful. That shit made me cry, bro, because I was like, bro, that's what we need in schools, bro. That literally we gotta care about these students, because it literally becomes just a system where I'm here, notes, and then I go home and that's it, and I do my homework. But bro, we're all individuals, real people in classrooms, and we gotta be able to feel that, bro, and that's beautiful. I love that Chelsea House doing that, especially where I fucking come from, bro. That's my city, bro. I love that shit, and it makes me happy to see that. My second one is episode 7 for them. It's not released. This won't be this week. It'll be the week after, the week right before the election. They're going to drop an episode on Informed about the virtues of people and why it's important to vote for the right person. I'm not going to tell you who the right person is. You watch that episode, make the decision for yourself. I don't know who you want to vote for. If you want to vote for Trump, you're probably, ignorant or something like that. But they're going to just come at you with some real information about real issues that each of them are looking at and how each of them has reacted to those issues. And that way you can make a decision for yourself. So make sure you look out for that, bro. That's going to be awesome. Again, ladies, bro, thank you for coming on, man. I was,
Oh,
bro.
Man.
It was tough. Obviously, this is hard. We might not have been able to give all our ideas out because it was moving so quickly, bro. We were just coming at this issue here, issue there, issue there. It's not easy to, stay on one train of thought, but I think we did a great job of starting conversation, and I hope everybody at home
it's a
gets
beautiful
continues
conversation,
that,
ladies
bro.
and gentlemen.
All right, you guys can go now.
One, thank you, Jason, about your point about social emotional learning. I appreciate how much you appreciated that. And I think my messy moment, oh my God, what was it? See, attention deficit. Every attention deficit, every ADD, what? Yes, education. I think that it's ridiculous for Trump to be able to write off a $70,000 haircut, and then educators are taking out of their own pockets to fund classrooms that should be funded by federal and state governments. I think that that's ridiculous. Again, I think it's important to remain patient and compassionate and gracious with our students, with our teachers, and with each other every day of our lives, all the time. And to be willing to at least listen to people, even if you don't want to respond to people when they're talking to you, at least listen to them, and be introspective and be ready for our 7th episode of Informed, which is the most introspective out of them all, I think.
Okay. For my messy moment, my kind of mirrors a little bit Vic's point about TPS. That was also my messy moment. I definitely feel like it's even in the immigrant community, TPS is something that's still not really as widely understood, or it's not nearly as talked about as as other matters within the immigrant community. But obviously that doesn't make it any less important. Obviously that doesn't make it any less important to the immigrant community, and especially within this election, the topic of TPS is so vital. It's so important because it's not just the life of one person at stake. It's the life of literally 400,000 people who, in a lot of cases, they probably can't return to their home countries because, quite frankly, as bad as things are here, it's not any better sometimes in the countries where they might have come from. And at least with the Joe Biden campaign, they have promised, Joe Biden has said himself that if he is elected and he is inaugurated January 21st, the day he's inaugurated, he will freeze deportations up to 90 days. And in that 90-day span, he will be overlooking the entire immigration system in order to forge a path to citizenship for TPS recipients. And that is a far better outcome than what is to be expected if Trump wins, because Trump has already decided he will decimate the entire TPS system, and people could be deported as soon as March of next year. And it's important to me as a Salvadoran. I have an aunt who is under TPS. I have a best friend who's under TPS, and I don't want to see them leave. It's as simple as that. So again, that's my messy moment, and I really hope that encourages you, the viewer, or you, the listener, to vote and to participate in democracy, because quite frankly, not a lot of there are some countries that can't vote for their leaders, and we can. So we should take advantage of that.
And so with that, from Iliana and Roxana, stay safe, stay healthy, stay informed, and vote.
Boom. Check you later.
Check you later.
See you later.
Boom.